This is Andre Tachi Feely. You listen to the Verbal Scrap Podcast. Let's get weird.
This is the Shark, Anthony Avila. You're listening to Verbal Scrap.
This is Justin, the Raw Deal Basement. You're listening to Verbal Scrap.
This is Nan Fan, and you're listening to the Verbal Scrap Podcast. I'm a fighter. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to fight.
Hey, this is Dave Hirschbein, MMA Gold, and you're listening to the Verbal Scrap.
I've worked so hard to do what I got to do in here. I took so much blood for this sport. I took so much pain, everything for the sport.
Hey, y'all, this is Zeke Johnston. You're listening to SRMMA.com Verbal Scrap. Stay tuned. They got some good stuff coming up.
This is Jaywa from SRMMA.com on the Verbal Scrap Podcast here with Shro in studio. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing well, buddy.
Well, that's all you got? You haven't been down here for like 7.5 years. Well, give me 2 words. Yeah, 2 words. How you doing today, man?
What do you want to talk about?
That's
how
2
I've
words.
been?
We'll take it. Done deal. You're here on the 49th episode of the Verbal Scrap Podcast. Go big or go home, because that's what we do every episode. We are going big, big, big. If you're following us now on SRMMA, you have to check out our Instagram, because we're new on Instagram. We pop all our hot shots on there. That was pretty gross. We pop all of our hot shots onto Instagram, and then you can like them, heart them, double tap them. I'm not sure. I'm still figuring it all out. But you got to follow SRMMA on Instagram and on Facebook, facebook.com/SRMMA, and on Twitter @SRMMA Tweets. We're presented today by One Body, OneFitBody.net. You can check them out. Integrated Systems. They're out in El Dorado Hills. Our boy Ty Silva runs a gym and a massage therapy company combined all together. So if you want more information, OneFitBody.net, and you can also feel free to give them a call anytime at 916-365-5345. Today on the podcast, we got Tachi Palace 16 news, West Coast fighting coverage, Huck's Dogs of War, Art of War. We got so much. We got Anthony Avila, Poppies Martinez, the Tachi champion, Jeremiah Labiano's on the card, Thomas Fallon, great interview. But first, we're going to be talking about UFC highlights. Sonnen took on Shogun. What were you thinking when you thought of that matchup in your head?
Really, that matchup to me was just going to be, Sonnen again trying to take him to the ground because he can't stand with him.
Now, here's what I was proposing. Do you think Sonnen could try and fight GSP, and then he would have fought for all 3 titles, like right in that middle range? Do you think that'd be a great idea?
His ego, definitely, I'm sure he wants to.
But his weight, you don't know if the weight would go with it?
He would try it. The man has the fortitude to do so. Just Dana, thank God, won't.
And the
ever.
chin. He has a great chin. But he took on Shogun Rua. Let's hear the highlights.
So we'll show you highlights of Sonnen and Rua instead. UFC in Boston Saturday night, the inaugural event on Fox Sports 1. Opening bell, Chael shooting for the takedown, gets it. Chael answering with the hip toss, raining down punches. And Chael not known for the submission, but sinks in the guillotine. Shogun tries to fight it off. He's forced to tap. Chael, just as we predicted, wins by submission in the first round.
Is that how you predicted Chael Sonnen was going to pull out a victory over Shogun Rua?
On the ground?
Yes, in a submission with a nice, sweet guillotine choke.
Yeah, not with a submission, but yes, on the ground.
On the ground. Well, what did you think when you actually heard that he won? What do you think is next on the docket for Sonnen? I mean, he's already fought for the light heavyweight title. He's obviously fought for the middleweight title. I mean, where do you think he is right now in his career as far as a fighter?
As far as a fighter, I don't know, because I think he still has unrealistic expectations. The rumors going around that like he only wants to fight for a belt in his next 3 fights or whatever. He's like, wants to be guaranteed title fights from Dana. So I think that's unrealistic and it's unfair. He earned the spots that he got. He lost. Step aside.
Done deal. Well, that moves us into some of our Tachi Palace 16 coverage. SRMMA.com was there live for Tachi Palace 16, the return. We got some big news. We talked to Poppies Martinez. We also sent Matt Zilla. He got an inside scoop with Mickey Martinez about the reasons why Tachi Palace sort of fell off. So that's going to be some big news. For you guys that don't know, at SRMMA.com right now, you can check out all the results. Some of the results that you may have heard. Alex Perez defeating Jeff Carson, Anthony Figueroa over Jimmy Grant, Rolando Velasco defeated Alex Rojas. We were able to speak to Rolando Velasco after his rear naked choke. So let's hear Mr. Velasco's words.
This is Jaywa from SRMA.com. We're here live at Tachi Palace Fight 16 with the victorious Rolando Velasco. What did you think about your experience at Tachi Palace? You know, your opponent was a little bit last minute. Coming into that, you said you didn't really have time to game plan for him, but it looked like you did really well. You were able to dictate the pace. What do you think about your performance?
I'm a little disappointed by my performance. I wasn't able to see what exactly he was lacking bring in his game. But then by the second round, I kind of figured out, his stand-up wasn't all that great. He left some openings, and I noticed his wrestling defense wasn't good. So that's when I started to work both, work some stand-up. I was trying to go for the knockout, but he closed the distance, and when he did, I went for the takedown, try to go for submissions. He's a tough guy, I'm disappointed that I wasn't able to finish him sooner because didn't recognize those weaknesses a lot sooner. But overall, it's a win. I'm happy with that, and just go away with the win.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. It looked like early on you were trying to throw some combinations, get inside his guard, and then it looked like later on you were trying to take him down often. When did it change for you? When do you feel like you realized where your advantages were?
Well, I noticed he was very comfortable with stand-up, so that's when I was like, okay, he's very comfortable with the stand-up. Let me take him down and see where it goes from there. So once I took him down, felt he wasn't that great. I still had to worry about his submissions, but I noticed on top I was comfortable. He was uncomfortable. I was wearing him down on top, and then by the second round, I noticed he was getting tired and his stand-up was starting to lack. And that's when I started to work both, maybe have him thinking takedowns, then work stand-up a little bit. So that's basically it. That's how it worked from then on out.
Well, Tachi Palace, they're making their return, obviously. I mean, when you heard that they might not be having fights anymore and they were going to go out and then they were coming back, what did you think about the potential of you getting on that card? And when you got on the card, what did you think?
Oh, man, I was happy. I was happy to hear that they're coming back. And more than anything, I wanted to be back here for the return, especially since their last fight was in November and I was on that card as well. So I was really happy to be part of this card. I'm really grateful for the opportunity.
Well, a couple more things for you. Training at Oakdale, you had guys like Brad getting ready for ZFC, you're getting ready for Tachi Palace. What's the atmosphere like there during training, getting ready for these kind of things?
Oh, it's intense, and you know what? It's fun. We're all brothers there. We've got a really close camaraderie there. We've grown up together. We've all worked out there for a very long time, 10 years. I've known Michael McDonald since he was like 14, and we've all worked out there, and it's, the atmosphere there is like family. I love it. I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Well, one last thing. You were able to be victorious here at Tachi Palace. What are you hoping to do, take this win, move into the future? Do you have anything lined up? And if not, where are you hoping to go?
I don't have anything lined up right now. That's up to my manager. But I'm trying to get to the top. I'm trying to get into these bigger organizations, UFC, Bellator, World Series, whatever's being offered. But, I want to fight tougher competition. I want to see where I'm at. I know I'm a lot better than how I performed today and, other fights in the past. I've beaten people that are in the UFC, and I feel like I'm there. Like, I just want that opportunity.
Well, do you have any thanks or shout-outs before we let you go?
Just thank you to my family for coming out and support, friends, my girlfriend for being there, and most importantly is my family, the Last Stand Fight team. Couldn't do it without them, Professor Tom, everybody there at the team, Michael McDonald, Justin, Brad, all the guys there. They're just amazing. There's awesome talent there, people that you don't even know about, that they're just awesome talent up and coming.
Well, you can find more coverage at srma.com. It was a pleasure to watch you fight. Thank you for your time, Ron.
Thank you.
Alexander Crispim also came out with a second round armbar submission. He was able to come back to Tachi Palace and get a result that he was happy with. I spoke to him post-fight, so let's hear his thoughts.
It's JY from srma.com. We're here live at Tachi Palace 16 with a victorious Alexander Crispim. Coming into this, it looked like Sergio was landing some really heavy bombs early. What did you think about him as an opponent?
Man, I knew he was a strong opponent because he's wired, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm a grappler, and sometimes for me to come and stand up, I become kind of conservative, you know what I'm saying? But I'm learning how to let it go. That was about trust. I need to trust in my fucking stand-up. So sometimes moving, I wasn't settling down. So he got him a couple of hits that I got out of balance. You know what I mean? So that was his strength. But I was fine, bro. Those hits was just off balance, and that's when he kind of thought he had me. But I was strong for this fight, man.
Well, on the ground, you guys scrambled often. You went back and forth. What did you think about the power he had on the ground, and what you were able to do to counter that?
Man, when he came in the ground, it was my home, you know what I mean? I could feel like as I was trying to hit him, he was just scrambling, he was slippery. And because he was slippery, it was kind of I had to position myself before I touched my back on the floor again and sweeping him back. So I couldn't counter him off that because he was just scrambled to get off, and I was already setting up my next position as I was getting off position. So.
Well, in the finish itself, he was kind of scrambling to get back up from when you took him down. You were able to sink in the armbar. What did you see there, and what did you go for?
Man, what I saw there was as soon as I got his side control, he kind of scrambled again because he's slippery, and then he was holding my shoulders for me to throw elbows and punches. So right there, when I saw his turn, I'm I'll go straight to his back. As I went straight to his back, he tried to scramble off of but right there, it's one of my best positions. You know what I mean? I knew the arm was right there, so I knew I could catch it and don't let go. I didn't even need to pass my leg over the head because I knew I had it. So while he was trying to scramble, I remember my last fight with Art. I lost the Kimura by being nice, you know what I mean, by being such a teacher. And then sometimes I let go the position. I feel like, I can get another one. And in a fight, I just learned off that fight that if I have it, I won't miss anymore.
Well, speaking of your last fight, you said you were disappointed with the previous result. How do you feel about this one?
Man, I feel awesome, bro. I just feel that I overcame myself. Like after 3 losses, you start like asking yourself, like if you should keep fighting or not. If you're getting older, I have all my boys coming up and they're doing hella well. And I'm just trying to be the best example as I can. But now I feel that I'm in the best shape of my life, bro. I came very well for this fight. Well prepared. I knew I had to win no matter what. I knew I could put that stand up. I threw some kicks well. My punch started coming in as in the second round came. I started getting comfortable again. And then whatever the fight goes, I was ready to knock him out. I'm sorry for my mouth. Just tapping him out.
Well, I talked to Jeremiah, and I wanted to ask you, I said that Crispim BJJ, you guys have been able to tap out everybody lately. Jeremiah at West Coast Fighting, now you at Tachi Palace. What do you think about the skills you guys have on the ground?
Man, the training is being crazy hard at the academy. I come from the Grace Academy, the Grace Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a half Grace black belt. My teacher Gordo, also as well from Brazil. He's Rafael dos Anjos' teacher. And he's like a lot of good guys came from. So now that I have my own gym, so I'm just pushing my boys to the end. They have a heck of good stand-up. We have our boxing coach James Buggs, like one of the best in the business, and then he helped us out how to get our fight to the ground well and also get confidence staying on the stand-up. So as the fight goes, if whatever fight finish, we are able to finish. If it goes on the ground, we got strong position to finish already.
Well, West Coast Fighting it was in attendance tonight. They said that they told us they were looking to set up a Smiley Crispin fight if you were victorious. Are you interested in fighting for West Coast? Is that something you might be interested in?
Man, I love fighting, man. I'm looking forward to fight. I have my new gym coming up now. It's a 10,000 square feet open up. So in the end of September, I'm open up. So I'm just gonna put my focus there. But I'm ready to get another fight, man. I need to get my record up again. I want to put it 3 wins straight, and they follow my dream. I want to make it to the UFC. That's what I always wanna. So now it's the time.
Well, last thing, do you have any thank yous or shout outs you'd like to give?
Man, I want to say thank you for all my friends, all my family, all students who support me, who believe me, and especially my wife, of course, because she put up with a lot for me to fight. You know what I mean? But I have a special one, some special guys that I have to say hey, don't share. All the jiu-jitsu that he put up. He's my student, but he's one of my best ones, like a brown belt, but he's a black belt already. And he put up that training with me 4 times a week for 1 hour, straight grappling, just to finish. And then I have James Buggs, my boxing coach, who push me to the end.
You look much more confident in the stand-up.
Yes, sir. That's all about James. And then I have Ivan from Mash. He's our association jiu-jitsu. I have jiu-jitsu association at his gym. He's a Muay Thai coach, and he helped me a lot to gauge my distance and put everything together. I even got some kicks in the face right there.
Yeah, I noticed.
So
fantastic. Well, you can find post-fight coverage at srma.com. I want to thank you for your time, Alex, and I hope to see you in the cage very soon.
Hey, man, I want to say thank you for SR MMA because you guys always support me, always support my students. I love you guys. I love the podcast. I love you here. And whatever you guys need and support, I'll be there for you guys too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Isaac DeJesus looked devilish as ever with a big first-round TKO. Matt Zilla caught up with him after the fight, so let's hear DeJesus' thoughts.
This is Matthew from SRMA.com with Isaac DeJesus, who just defeated Darren Crisp in 2 minutes and 20 seconds in round 1 at Tachi Palace. How do you feel about your victory?
I feel really great right now, man. Well deserved. That's definitely for sure.
You definitely had the advantage with him in striking. You pretty much swarmed him really quickly. Can you talk about what happened there?
I've done an amazing conditioning program, and I have awesome striking coaches. Between the two, it just made a nonstop gust to win forward, man, and that was really my plan. I just wanted to overwhelm him with as much as I could without tiring out.
Early on, there seemed to be some confusion. The referee initially called a TKO, but it seemed as though they let it continue because it was an accidental groin shot. Could you talk about what happened there? Because that's all I saw.
You know what? I'm honestly not 100% sure. I was assuming it was a clean knee to the belly. I assumed that I kind of maybe caught him and stunned him, got him, a little bit weak, and he hit the floor. So, I mean, if I would have known it was a low blow, I definitely wouldn't have taken off like that. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to check the replay and see. I know he's probably about like 8 inches taller than me, so I definitely try to get the knees up there. But, again, I'm going to have to watch it. I wasn't planning for a growing shot. If it happened, it was accidental. But, again, I don't assume it was, but, I'll check the replays and see what happened.
I understand that that's one of the differences when you don't have an official commission is that you can actually continue fights after the ref officially stops it.
Yeah, that's like I'm assuming that's the rule. Usually they stop it and they don't go continue once they stop it, something like that. But hey, I'm happy that I got him again.
Yes, very well deserved win. And can you talk about your training camp and leading up to this?
Yeah, again, I have an amazing strength conditioning coach. His name's Dr. Joe Martin, former Navy SEAL. He trains me in Clovis with an amazing strength conditioning workout. I have a great grappling and jiu-jitsu team at NorCal Fight Alliance in Santa Rosa, California. And my striking coach is here, in Fresno. And the amazing team I have an awesome group of amateurs, an awesome group of pros that, they help build me, to the best fighting machine I can possibly be. So just a big team effort with a group of people that I definitely am happy with.
I see you have Poppies, the Tachi kid shirt on. Could you talk about how you feel about his matchup coming up soon?
Poppies is in the same boat as me. He had the same training camp. He's great shape right now. He's prepared very, very well for this fight. I predict the same outcome as mine. Fast pace, just nonstop action until it finishes, whether it's a submission or TKO. I mean, I trained with the guy who's one of my best friends and great teammate, and it's one of the craziest submission games I've ever rolled with, and I've rolled with a lot of guys. So I'm excited for his fight. There's a lot of options of him finishing this fight. So however it goes, I'm sure it's going to be entertaining.
Are you going to be at the next Tachi Palace?
Absolutely. I love this place. It's my home. So as long as they like me here, I'll be back.
All right, thank you very much. This has been Matthew with Isaac DeJesus.
Thanks, man.
Back here on the Verbal Scrap Podcast, going over our Tachi Palace 16 coverage. It took place on August 24th down at Lemoore, California. SRMA was there to cover it live. ARCINIEGA was able to take home the featherweight title. I spoke with him after the bout, so let's hear the chant.
It's JWoww from SRMA.com. We're live at Tachi Palace 16 post-fight. Victorious ARCINIEGA. You're now the featherweight champion. What do you think about Marcelo as an opponent now that you've been able to go the full distance with him?
I think Marcelo is a tough opponent. I knew he was going to be tough before the fight. So when the fight was going, I already knew it was going to be a tough fight. But I was prepared for a war. I mentally, physically, emotionally got myself prepared for a war, and that's why it was a war, because I told myself that if I was to lose, it's not because I didn't try hard, and if I was to win, it's because I deserved it, and I think that's why I won.
Well, it looked like Marcelo's game plan early on was to hit you with leg kicks and kind of counter your punches. Did you notice that, and what did you do to kind of counter that yourself?
Yes, I did notice that with the leg kicks. I was assuming that he was going to take the game plan from Crispim when Crispim landed a lot of leg kicks on me, but I had trained to counter him right away. But he still landed them. He still landed some. But I've been very fortunate to take good leg kicks. I know I shouldn't take them as much, but I've been blessed to be able to take them and still walk forward. But yes, I knew that was the game plan. But I knew that I can take all his punches. He does hit hard. Obviously, it's in my face. But I knew I could stay in the pocket and be aggressive.
There were a couple times where you caught him really flush. I mean, what did you think when you were able to catch him? Did you think he was going to go down at any point in time? Were there any times that you thought you might have the fight, or was it just tough all the way through?
No. Sometimes when I did see him days, I did think I was going to catch him, but he did good. Getting away and not letting me cut him off. But I knew that if I just stayed in front of him, that I can force him not to punch as much as he wanted to. Whenever I let him get off was when he was comfortable. But I always know that when I stayed forward, he wasn't as comfortable.
Well, being Tachi Palace champion, I mean, what do you think that does for your name, and especially now that Tachi Palace is back and they're going to be doing all their events one more time?
I'm happy. I was a PFC champion here. Now I'm the TPF champion, so I'm a two-time Tachi champion, and that's something I'm proud of. So I'm hoping that this will lead to bigger fights. Before last year, I had 90% of my wins were by finishes. Now I have like four decisions in a row. But I'm facing animals.
Yeah,
but I'm showing that I can last those long rounds, and I just hope to test myself with other tough guys. Hopefully in a big organization, just so I can make a little bit more money before my career's over.
Well, I wanted to ask you just a few more things. This kind of obviously puts a target on your back with Tachi. A lot of guys, including Crispim, told me he'd be interested in a rematch. I mean, where are you hoping to go immediately? Are you hoping to stay in Tachi, or do you have anything on your horizon?
Whatever my managers decide. Of course, when I started this goal, it was to reach the Super Bowl of the sport, which is the UFC. It's like everyone else's dream, and it's mine as well. So I'm hoping that this fight takes me already to the big show. If not, then I will be responsible. I will take the responsibility of being a champion seriously and defend it with whoever they want.
Well, last thing before I let you go, I mean, being a Fresno boy, I mean, what do you think this says about your California status and where you are in the region as far as MMA is concerned?
I've always felt that I was one of the top fighters here in the Valley, and I like to think I proved it again. So I just think, I like to stay humble. I respect everybody, but I also want people to, acknowledge my skills, and I think they do. Everybody's pretty cool with me about it in front of me, so hopefully that it's like that all the time. But I just feel like I've always thought I was a top fighter in the Valley, and I feel like I proved it again.
Well, do you have any thanks or shout-outs before we let you go?
I want to say thanks to my coaches, my team, Pacific Martial Arts in Fresno, all my sponsors. A lot of sponsors to name, so I didn't want to try, but I want to thank all my friends and family who supported me all these years, and especially my coaches, man. People don't understand I have a full-time job, so I have to have the craziest schedule, a tight schedule, and all my coaches sacrifice their time so I can be able to train 100%.
Well, you can find more post-fight coverage at ARCINIEGA.com. I want to thank you for your time, featherweight champion.
Awesome, and you guys take the badass pictures.
Lightweight champion Poppies Martinez was able to defeat Christos Giagos by his very own Tachi choke. He dubbed it after he pulled out this interesting alligator roll and still pulled out the submission in the first round. Mattzilla caught up with the champ after the bout, so let's hear the interview.
This is Matthew from SRMA.com with Poppies Martinez, the Tachi Palace lightweight champion who just defended his title against Christos Giagos. How do you feel about your eighth? Is this an eighth continuous victory now? Ninth. Oh, I must have. Sure Dog must have missed one. Then.
Yeah, he fucks up all the time. It's all right.
So, how do you feel about your performance? Lots of grappling, very back and forth. Were you concerned at any point?
Well, no, I went up to Santa Rosa to go train with David Terrell and them and his team from Santa Rosa. I want to thank them for taking me in. I have my main coach, Joe Soto from Porterville. I got my Muay Thai coach, Isaac DeJesus, that fought tonight. I got a great team. I got two world-class teams. Like this guy, Joe Soto, he's a Bellator world champion. I got Isaac DeJesus, he's the first ever featherweight champion of the Tachi Palace. I can't go wrong.
So can you describe those last moments when you pulled guard with the guillotine and then the twist happened?
Well, I call that move the Tachi choke. I made up that move a couple years ago because, if you fall into a choke, they're going to roll out. I just had to modify my own choke, and I always call it the Tachi choke. Tonight, this is my first time ever pulling it off. Pulled off a lot in practice, but it was great to pull it off ever.
Excellent. Your very own choke. That must feel good.
It feels good. I'm going to go home, see my kids, my grandkids, and, I dedicated this fight to my grandpa, I got, a lot of kids right now, I found my heart. My grandpa's always been my heart and my passion to get that win back.
Well, let's talk about your next fight in Bellator.
Well, I don't know who I'm fighting, but, I take it fight by fight. Bellator offered me a contract. Win this one, I'm trying to get to that belt. That's my goal, collect another belt.
After so many wins and so many finishes at that, it must be very satisfying to be moving up into Bellator and hopefully next up into the UFC.
Hey, Bellator's coming up. They're a big brand. The Biocon owns it now. I'm ready to go over there and put on a show.
All right, now I talked to your brother Mickey earlier about the Tachi fight's cancellation and the subsequent reversal of that. What do you feel contributed to why did the council want to cancel it in the first place?
I can't talk about that because it's confidential. I can't say anything about it.
Okay, that's understandable. So you're also coming to Tachi Palace next fight event here?
I think this might be my last Tachi fight, but I leave with the belt.
That's quite an excellent way to go. Anything you'd like to say to your fans, your many fans tonight?
I want to thank you for interviewing me. I want to thank my teams from Porterville and Fresno. I want to thank everybody for supporting me, everybody out here. Without fans, I wouldn't be nobody.
All right, thank you very much. This is the Tachi Palace lightweight champion, Poppies Martinez.
Back here on the Verbal Scrap Podcast, that concludes our Tachi Palace 16 coverage, brought to you by MMA Pink. You can check out the new female fighter and female fight fan apparel at MMAGold.com for more. If you're interested in advertising with SRMMA, shoot us an email, jw@srmma.com, which takes us to the Huck's Dogs of War coverage. We had an interview with Thomas Smash Fallon, who's going to be in the main event, dropping down in weight for the first time to fight for the light heavyweight title. Him, and he brought Justin Ford, who got a big victory at Art of War. 17-year-old kid, by the way, beat up like a 26-year-old, so I made sure to be extra nice to him in the studio. We were able to catch up with both of them, so let's hear it now. It's JY from SRMMA.com. We're here on the Verbal Scrap Podcast talking to West Coast Fighting amateur heavyweight champion Thomas Smash Fallon. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You got some big Hucks news for us. How you doing as far as the amateur title defense is coming up for you?
I'm fighting, dropping to 205 and going for that belt too. I'm already the heavyweight champ for Dogs of War, and I will soon to be the light heavyweight champ too.
Well, October 19th, they're going to have you main event again. They haven't put on a show in a little while, but now they're going to be back. I love their show. What do you think about being involved with the Badge vs. Badge, Huck's Dogs of War?
Oh, man. They, of course, Huckaba is a great guy. He's my longtime coach and training partner. Gary Shirley, you know, people can say what they want about that man, but he's a good man. He takes care of us fighters. He gets good matchups for us and puts on a good show and makes sure everything runs smooth. So, you know, I enjoy fighting for them, and you know, it's not West Coast. It's not a big pro show, but it's one of the best amateur shows here. And you know, when you're there, you'll see it.
Well, you're going to be the main event again. Obviously, you have a big pool. Have you been growing the fan base to new levels you may not have been able to see around here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gaining more notoriety lately because of my coaching. I've been coaching a lot of amateur fighters, a lot of pro fighters, and helping guys be successful, and kind of living through them a little bit on my off season. You know, keeps my mind in the game, keeps me sharp, keeps me in shape. And the young guys are so talented; they learn so fast. It makes me have to grow with them, or my young guys, like the guy sitting here, Justin Ford, they just pass you up. So, you know, the young guys are my motivation to keep learning myself and keep growing.
Well, you were just telling me, speaking of getting into shape, that you had dropped some poundage, looking good. I mean, how's training been going for you in preparation for this?
Man, we're 9 weeks out from the fight, and I'm ready to go. I know it's cliche. It sounds, you know, people say that all the time, but usually I feel ready 2 weeks before. But I've been, and I helped Dave get ready for that World Series fight. I helped Justin and Johnny MAREZ get ready for their Art of War fights, and then before that we had fights at Gladiator, and we're all over the place. So I'm real active, even though I haven't fought since May. I mean, I'm always training, and I'm down to 229, walking around and waking up at under 230 now, and for me that's a 15, close to 20 pound difference.
Coming into the amateur heavyweight matchups, do you ever feel like you're ever pressured to lose any particular weight and go to any different weight classes? Are you feeling comfortable in heavyweight right now?
I mean, look at my record. I'm 4-0. I got 3 finishes. The only fight that went to the decision, to the final bell, was a fight that I had 5 days to prepare for. So that really is more of a reflection of my lack of preparation than a lack of my skills. Nothing against Angelo Avila, but I feel if I would have trained for 3 to 4 weeks for that, I probably would have finished him in the first round.
Well, coming into this, I mean, have you had an opportunity to check out any of the opponent they're going to be having your way for the October 19th matchup?
You know, I'm not going to say any names, but I was asking for top 5 light heavyweights. I don't know what happened. I think a lot of guys are lined up for the state championships, which I was supposed to be a part of too, but I'm not really interested. Yeah. So
as far as camo is concerned, the camo state championships, is that what you're talking about?
I'm not really interested in that. I love camo,
Gotcha.
But I mean, you know, the money's not there.
And what do you feel about their ranking system? I mean, do you think it's a fair representation of the state?
The rankings are fair, except for they do not account for fights out of state, and that's not for camo. So for instance, when they calculate the rankings, they go based on how good your opponent is, so what his record is, how the fight finished, was it a knockout, a TKO, submission, and how long did the fight last. So for me, in my last fight against Terrell Bozen, who's a real good guy too, all luck to him in his career, they considered him a fighter who had no fights because he had no fights for camo, so he's an 0-0 fighter. So when they did the math, the number crunching, it only brought me up to number 6 in the state. Now, he had a record of 7-3. He had 4 first-round knockouts, a third-round knockout, and 3 first-round submissions. So in my opinion, that fight should have got me at least top 3.
Does that also kind of factor into your lack of desire to want to go with the state championships, the money factor and the rankings?
It's more a money thing.
Gotcha.
Like I sell a bunch of tickets and I get a good percentage of that.
What do you feel is the most difficult thing for amateur athletes to go out there and sell those tickets? Building that fan base. What do you think is the hardest part about it?
It's not hard for amateurs. It's hard for pros. The thing about selling tickets is you have to space your fights out. If I fought every 2 months, I'd probably sell 30, 40 tickets. If I fight twice a year, I'm selling 100, 120 tickets because people want to see me fight. But if you fight all the time, I'll catch your fight next month. I'll catch the next one. But if you're fighting twice a month, people want to be there.
Well, do you feel like since getting the WFC, the amateur title, when we had talked before, you were still a guy who obviously undefeated, but people might not have been giving you that extra little bit of respect. Do you feel like the WFC amateur belt lends to that, and do you feel any difference since obtaining that?
Yeah, I mean, I fought in the first few fights, I was fighting guys with 1 fight or 2 fights. So, yeah, I mean, I beat the Ultimate Renal Combat Heavyweight champ. I beat a multiple jiu-jitsu championship fighter. I mean, I beat a dangerous guy.
Well, we have a little hashtag game we've been playing with a few guys. A couple of popular hashtags on Twitter, so I'm going to throw them your way. There's no way you could possibly get in trouble. I know you're a taken man for the first hashtag, so this is before that.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag we can't date if. What's something that a honey would bring your way that you would slap down immediately if she brought that to you? It can be
smokers.
See, I feel like everyone's saying smokers. All right, you know what? I'm sorry you're
I'm
gonna
an
have to deal with
athlete,
this.
man.
One thing besides smoking. Sorry, what's one thing a hot chick could bring your way that you'd be like, nah, I'm right off the bat.
If you're hot genetically, but you're lazy and you're not into working out, there's nothing sexier than watching a girl do 100 squats.
I like it. I'm gonna have to agree.
Some jump squats, some lunges.
Although I've never seen 100 full squats in one sitting, I will say I haven't seen that.
You could do 2 sets of 50.
That'll do. No, it's like George Carlin. Like I never hooked up with a 10, but I did 5 twos.
I did 5 twos.
That should count. But third hashtag was about being a pro athlete. You're en route to becoming a pro athlete, so I can't ask you this. So I'm going to throw you another hashtag. I'm going to tweak it a little bit that I found. The hashtag was my celebrity crush is, but I'm going to change it to celebrity crush was for you, just to save you from any possible outcomes.
My wife's okay. I can dream.
Awesome. Then let's get the truth out of you. Your celebrity crush is...
Man,
I know you have like 6 right now. You're just like trying to figure out which one's not going to get you in as much trouble, right?
I'm thinking female fighters. Of course, people are Misha or Rhonda. I like Pat Barry's girl.
From Invicta, right?
Yeah, Rose Namajunas.
Yep. She's very emotional too, which is kind of got that
she's
appeal
like
to
me.
it.
You know, she gets real crybaby, crazy killer in her. You know,
but do you consider her like celebrity status? You know, since you've seen her fight, yeah.
To me, yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. It is relative. So.
What's sexy about her is her skill level. Yeah, she's cute. She's petite. That's sexy, but pulling off flying arm bars.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty hot. I'll give you that.
Her striking is amazing, and to see a female who is as tough as any man I've ever seen go out there and bang it out, that's sexy to me. You know.
Well, I wanted to ask you about Dave Huckaba recently, like you had said, World Series of Fighting. He comes out huge against Ray Sefo.
Man, that was
what'd you think about that effort?
Oh, we're all so proud of him. He deserves it so much. I mean, he's had a long, hard road to get where he is. He's such a good guy, such a family man, and one of the greatest training partners that you can have. You know, it's unfortunate our gym shut down, but it frees me up to do different things, and we're still good friends. And he called me last week and told me that he's going to give me 2 days a week of his time to help me train for this next fight. So
that's really awesome. Yeah.
So I'm excited. I mean, who else is getting calls from big names like that saying I'm going to come help you train, you know?
Well, I find this interesting. I had a conversation with him long time ago, and he says, you know, I'm thinking, this might be my last year. And then in this year, he pulls off the WFC title, then he goes to World Series, signs a huge contract, looks great against Sefo. Where do you think he's at mentally training with him the way he has?
What he has said, and he has said this a lot, is if the big show does not come knocking, then he's done. He's proved who else is out there for him to fight out here locally? What other belt can he fit on his wall? I mean, he's going to need a bigger house for all his belts. What he had said is if he doesn't make it to the next level, then he's done. And I agreed with that decision. And he's made it to the next level, so I guarantee he's going to jump, put a good engine in his car and start driving fast. Man, he's ready to rock. I know Dave. He's going to take a week or two off and get ready to fight again.
Well, you had Justin Ford with you. I wanted to ask, being out there at Art of War, what did you see in the fight? I mean, how'd you prepare him for that matchup?
Oh, man, I gave him about 2 hours of my time, 6 days a week for 6 weeks. Not just kickboxing, not just grappling, we are running together. We're going to Kovar's Jiu-Jitsu and rolling down there. We're going around to different places and getting sparring in. He's a good kid, and he's got the body for MMA. He's 6'3", walks around 195 pounds. I mean, he's only 17. He's got a lot of growing to do still. But more than anything, I'm proud of him as the man he's becoming. He's a young father. His baby's either just turned a year or is almost a year
Congratulations,
old.
by the way.
He graduated from school. He's holding a job down. He's taking care of his daughter. And on top of that, he's training like a real pro all the time, really consistently. And he's being successful in everything that he puts his mind to. So for me, I'm proud of him. I look at him like a little brother. And he helps me as much as I help him with training for the fights.
Well, let's get Justin in here and chit-chat a little bit about the debut.
Yep.
All right, we're back here on the Verbal Scrap Podcast talking to Justin Ford. Thank you for showing up in studio. I'm not sure if you chose to come or if you were dragged, but I appreciate your time anyway.
Yeah, just coming out, trying to get some exposure. New to this thing. We'll see how it goes.
Well, Art of War, I mean, was that kind of the same process you thought going out there? I mean, being new to the sport?
I'm new to the sport, fighting, actually being in the ring, but not to training. I've been training since I was in 8th grade, but now it's just my time. It's time to get out there, make things happen.
Well, I heard you beat up a man the same age as me, so I'm a little bit more, cautious as the questions I ask you. I mean, what did you think about the experience being out there, being in the cage, and how'd you take it all in?
It was good. I mean, at first training, I was thinking, man, I'm going to fight a grown man, and then getting closer and closer to it, I was thinking since I was 13, I've been fighting grown men, so I should have no problem with this. So just training Thomas, Dave, all the guys that I've been training with since I was so young, I wasn't really too worried about it.
Well, after the experience went down, you getting your hand raised in the cage, I mean, what kind of emotions are going through your mind?
Oh, man, it was great. I wanted just to fight every week for forever after that, but can't do that.
Well, I mean, what are you hoping to do in the MMA world? I mean, being so young, obviously, there's a good chance you want to take this to further reaches. But, I mean, obviously you have a busy life. Where are you hoping this takes you? What are you hoping it provides for you?
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just see where it goes. I want to make it big, but I don't know. We'll just see. I'm just on the roller coaster. I feel like I have a lot of potential, so I'm going to use that to my advantage. But I don't know. We'll see. Biggest question of the night. You interested in playing our hashtag game? Let's do it. You think you'll be better than Thomas? I hope so. All right, first hashtag, fly honey coming your way. Hashtag we can't date if. What's it going to be? We can't date if your feet look like mine. Oh, well, that begs the question. What do your feet look like? You want to see? I do not. I personally do not. But if a girl has your feet, I mean, what would you say is the thing about your feet that is the turnoff? Fred Flintstone. Rubble. All right. Well, second hashtag. Hashtag my celebrity crush is. Ooh. I mean, I know there's a lot of good-looking ladies on film, so I feel you. It's hard to narrow it down. So you could just pick one that you might be crushing on. I'm cool with that. I should have took some notes on all the movies when you're watching. Minute 48. She looks great. See, I would say I think I'm gonna go with JWoww. That's interesting. Okay, throw me a little bit more details. So, what do you... She's athletic. I mean, I think there is some cute fighters, but she's athletic and she doesn't fight. I don't think girls should fight.
JWoww fights. What are you talking about?
She fights?
Yeah, on every Jersey Shore TV show.
So this begs the question: you're a shore man? Would that be your guilty pleasure as well, or do you let people know your TV choices?
I don't know. I'm pretty comfortable with who I am, so.
Well, then this is going to get us something juicy. Hashtag my guilty pleasure is. If you're so comfortable with who you are, you got to throw out a guilty pleasure that doesn't make you comfortable. What's the world going to know?
I think I watch the news too much for how young I am. I watch the news like every night.
Do you feel like you watch it like an old person, or do you feel like it just informs you incorrectly?
I have to break in as his coach. His guilty pleasure is, for one, food.
Oh, yeah,
and for
food.
2, women.
So food, women, and the news.
Food, women, and the news.
I think that should be your band name if you start any musical career. I'd like it. A couple of things before we let you go. What are you hoping to do next? I mean, in the fight world, are you hoping to pick up another fight? Do you have one lined up? What do you got going on?
I don't have one lined up, but I'm shooting for early next year. I'm going to be training no matter what. But yeah, early next year, I've got some things I've got to take care of, but that seems like the most opportunistic time for me.
Well, before we get Thomas back in, do you have any thank yous or shout outs before we let you go?
Say thank you to my family, Thomas, Dave, everybody that I've always trained with. Thank you guys. Kovar's Karate, Mike and Jamie at the dungeon. Just everybody that helped me get prepared for my last fight and is still on for the ride. Thank you.
Well, let's get Thomas back on, and then we'll finish this amazing SRMMA segment. We're back here on the Verbal Scrap Podcast with Thomas Smash Fallon. I wanted to ask you, what do you think is a promising kind of prospect version of what you see happening for Justin Ford in the future?
Well, once he's 18... Well, I wanted to get him a fight before he turned 18. That's why we went out to the Chicken Ranch, Art of War. Thank you, guys. Good promotion out there. Yeah, so once he's 18, then he'll start fighting for Camo. And I'd already talked to Brandon from West Coast, so I'm going to get him on there. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to finish talking about your matchup. Coming into this, obviously you've shown your wrestling, your hands. Is there any new wrinkles you're hoping to show in the cage, or are you hoping that it's just going to be another kind of smash performance for you?
The one thing that I've noticed a big difference from losing weight is my jiu-jitsu is just so much smoother. And I've been working my jiu-jitsu more consistently. But, I mean, I try and fill all my holes. You know, that sounds funny. Yeah,
it will sound funny, especially now, because I might keep it in.
Good, keep it. Yeah, I mean, I'm always working on. I critique the crap out of myself. I'm a perfectionist. I got a good compliment last year from Drew Montgomery. I'm sure everybody knows him. Team Carnage vet. He told me I'm a technique whore.
That's a positive.
Yeah, man. I was like, thanks, man. I appreciate that. You know. Yeah, technique whore. I'm good with that.
New hashtag for Thomas Fallon. Technique whore.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, do you have any thank yous or shout outs before we let you go, and give an opportunity to give the fans information to get tickets for the October 19th fight from you?
Yeah, I'll definitely have tickets for sale. I'm making new shirts this time too. They're going to be black and orange like the Giants. I think we're going to go back to the old. I don't care. Put your thumbs down, Johnny. You're going to lose that thumb.
Go Braves.
Anyways, yeah, you can cut that part out of the show.
I think we'll keep that part. We'll keep that part in there.
All right. I lost my train of thought.
Making new shirts.
I'm going to kind of go back to a simpler design. I'm going to do black and orange. I'm going to make 100 shirts. I'm going to try and sell all of them and give some away to the kids and whatnot. I'll have tickets for sale for sure. I guess starting next week, I was told. I don't really worry about hustling tickets till the last month because people aren't sure. It's too far away. You know, It's hard to really plan that far away for people. But yeah, what were we talking about again?
And thank yous. You didn't give the thank yous.
Yeah. First and foremost, you know, people forget where they come from. So I really want to thank Dave for getting me as far as he has, and I appreciate all the doors that he's opened for me throughout these years. I know everybody in Sacramento now when it comes to the fight game. So many people are friendly to me because of him, and you know, I want to thank Dave and his wife and his family for, you know, putting up with all of us and keeping that gym alive as long as we did. So Dave, love you, man. Appreciate everything you've ever done for me. All them heavy left hooks I've taken on my jaw. You build my confidence, and proud of you with that knockout of Cepho. When it comes to thank yous, I mean, I gotta thank my wife. She's a wonderful lady.
Does she sport our T-shirt, by the way?
She does. She likes it.
Then I like her too.
She wears it to 24-hour fitness. You know,
That's what I'm talking
but
about.
She's losing weight too, so she's gonna need a smaller one.
I give a thank you to her. Personal thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, my wife, she works her butt off and she goes to school and she pays almost all the bills. She lets me work part-time and follow my dreams. So I mean, I love you, baby. Thank you for everything. And then you know, right now the biggest help to us is Team Dungeon. Jamie and Mike Gomez. It's more of a gym for weight loss. It's kind of like CrossFit type gym. She does wonders with the diet and the strength and conditioning. She's the one who's got me on my diet, and I look like a new man, feel like a new man. Same thing with my wife. So shout out to the Dungeon, and we will be expanding next month, moving to a bigger place. We're gonna get a cage. We're gonna get mats. We're gonna try and get a whole MMA program going there, along with the women's program for losing weight and dieting and all that. So big shout out to the Dungeon. They've done a lot for us lately these last couple months. And Kovars, he's offering his services for free. Real good guy. Chad Shepard is letting me and my teammates come over there and train, and all he asks is us to give him a shout out. So Chad Shepard, you're the man. Appreciate you. We'll be back in your gym next week. I know we've taken a couple weeks off, but we'll be back soon. And then Gary Shirley, Dogs of War, even West Coast, I want to thank you. West Coast is a good show. I'll be back with you soon as I go pro. My dad's off chemo next week. I'm so excited for that. He's been on it for years now. He's done, finally done. My dad, my mom, all my brothers, all my brothers, you know who you are. Love everybody out there. SRMMA, JWOW, just kidding, Johnny Wow. Yeah, man. JWOW, man, you've been here with me from the beginning. You've always showed me love. You've always hyped my name up and put me out there. So, man, SRMMA, you're the shit.
I like it. We're definitely keeping that in.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, you can check out ticket information for the upcoming October 19th Huck's Dogs of War event at srmma.com when the tickets are available. And I'll definitely make sure to send them all your numbers so they can hit up Thomas Fallon directly.
Yes,
I want to thank you so much, Justin and Thomas, for coming down here. A lot of guys, offer their time, might not be able to make it, so I appreciate you guys going out of your way to make sure it's here.
One last thing.
All yours.
I've never had sponsors for any of my fights. I've made all the shirts with my own money. I've done everything, paid for everything myself. I think it's about time I get some sponsors. If you want to be a part of this 2-time heavyweight champ, soon to be 3-time champ,
2-time
main event fighter for this next coming up Dogs of War show, you go ahead and let me know. Shoot me some cash. We'll make some shirts. I'll put you on 100 shirts guaranteed, and I'll get a new banner done. So sponsors.
And when you get the knockout finish, who are you going to give a shout out to? Your sponsors, right?
JWOW.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I like that even better.
Yeah, sponsors, man. I mean, right now I've never given, all the glory's gone to me. I've done it all by myself, but I need some help, man. This is a rough sport.
Everybody does. It's all about networking, co-branding.
It's not cheap to train. People don't understand. Gear costs a lot. Vitamins cost a lot. Supplements, my diet. I mean, it adds up, man.
Let's get this man paid.
Get me paid.
SRMA.com. Send us an email as well if you're interested in getting a hold of Thomas. We will shoot you his way for sponsorship information.
Yep.
Thanks again one more time, Justin and Thomas, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
SRMA.com for more information.
All right.
Also from Art of War, Johnny MAREZ unfortunately wasn't able to win the title at his last bout against Rey Severa, but he's going to be taking him on again in January. We were able to catch up with him on the Bomb First hotline. You can check out bombfirst1.com for more information about their fight apparel. Let's hear Mr. MAREZ's thoughts about his upcoming rematch. It's JWOW from SRMMA.com. We're here on the Verbal Scrap Podcast talking to Johnny MAREZ. How you doing today, my friend?
Good, man. Real good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, no problem. It's always a pleasure. Recently, you were out at Art of War. You told me before, you really like the event, the spectacle that they put on, the way they respect the fighters. I mean, how did you enjoy the festivities this time?
Like always, man. It was a pleasant experience. They always throw good shows. Always have exciting fights. They always have good fighters, and they're just growing, man. They signed a couple of new guys that that are going to just make that show even a more legitimate show.
Yeah, I also noticed that Art of War has teamed up with like up and comers and stuff like that. They're trying to build their brand that way, and they've been able to kind of put together a little production company for themselves. So, what do you think about the way that they're growing? And are you hoping to stay involved with those guys continuously?
Yeah, I just signed a 3-fight contract with them that's covered.
Oh, congratulations!
A year or a little over a year. So, what that's going to do is, they signed they signed a production company, or they have a production company that's been doing, their videos and stuff like that, and then just the promotion. Man, they really promote their fighters and they really promote their events really, really well. So, when you're a local fighter, you're trying to come up. There's so much local talent that you got to try to do whatever you can to get your name out there, and they do a really, really good job of promoting their fighters and their events. So I'm really excited to work with them. Really excited.
That's something else I was going to ask you about. I mean, what do you think about the? It seems like there's a good surge the last couple months of fight buzz and new guys coming in, veterans of the sport, going on to bigger levels and doing well. What do you think about the local MMA scene as it is, and how, since you've been a part of it, what do you feel being involved with these kind of guys?
It's great. It just shows you like the level of talent that we have in Sacramento and in the surrounding areas, and just to be a part of that, and for those guys that know me, and for me to know them and to train with a lot of those guys, it's great, man. So cause, everybody knows each other, and everybody pretty much trains with each other, or they have at one point. So you get to know people, and people starting to get to know you. It's a good way to get it's a good way to get known.
Well, your recent fight at Art of War, you were able to fight for a title there against Baby Ray, one of the guys around here that has a good buzz of him, has a good wealth of skills. I mean, you talked before the fight, you really respected his talent. Now that the fight went down, it didn't go your way, but what do you take from it, and how did it play out in your eyes?
It was he surprised me at first with his speed. I didn't know he was going to be that fast and that long. To tell you the truth, I wanted to keep the fight standing. I really, really respect his skills. Maybe I could have kept the fight going my way more, but like I said, what I took from the fight was, you want to take from every loss, pick up something from it, and keep, and carry on and build it. I've been working my jiu-jitsu the past 9 months, and Baby Ray is a jiu-jitsu guy. He's a high-level purple belt. So for me to fight a guy at that level and to do well, it just showed me what I took from that fight is I can compete with guys, with his belt rank, at his level of jiu-jitsu. It didn't come my way, but like I said, he didn't take me to the ground. I chose to go to the ground, so it was my fight, and I felt like I had him in trouble, and I gave it away. I didn't want to go to the ground with the guy, but I threw a big punch while he was on the ground. It hurt him, and he went in for for a takedown or to grab me while we were on the ground, and I saw anaconda choke that I locked up, and I was kind of surprised that I was able to lock up an anaconda choke on a guy at that skill level. So what I did, I got a little impatient, and I fell to my back rather than to dive in the roll to do the actual roll. I tried to regroup and try to finish the hold from an awkward position. It was locked in tight, and but him being the great jiu-jitsu fighter that he is, endured a tight choke, and was able to pop out and take my back and to finish me with the rear naked choke. But I just proved to myself that I trusted in my jiu-jitsu, and if I had to do it all over again, and I see the choke, I'd probably go for the choke again. But I was winning the stand up. I had him hurt pretty bad, and I chose to go to the ground, and he defended it well, and man, props to him. I take nothing away from him, man. He showed heart, and I take from it that I can go in there and fight with guys at his skill set, and his level on the ground, and and to really, really compete. So.
Well, I had two more things for you. One was definitely about your upcoming great news. One is what we kind of been listening to as a nationwide trend on Twitter and stuff like that, so I've been interested in people's thoughts. There's a hashtag going around called #WeCan'tDateIf, and I know you're all taken. You got your business, but if someone was to ask you, we couldn't date if, what it would be one or two of your things that would be like, no, if they do this, we cannot date?
If a chick smokes, man. That's disgusting to me. I don't care how hot you are or how good looking you are or whatever, man. If a chick smokes, dude, that's a no. That's a no-go, man. that's definitely a no-go.
Yeah, I feel. I'm in the in-between on that because I kind of don't dig it, but at the same time, if the hotter and more attractive the girl is, the more I can kind of let it go, and I feel like that's bad, but that's just how I am. I see your point. I totally see your point.
Yeah. When you get up close and personal, man, you smell that nasty breath or the hair, you know. That doesn't go too well. I'm glad my wife doesn't smoke.
Well, last thing before we let you go, I wanted to talk about your upcoming rematch. You guys, you informed people that you're going to be fighting in January. Baby Ray again, I assume, right?
Yes, yeah. What happened was after the fight, I thought I had the photographer come up to me and a couple of people that were sitting that recorded the fight from a different angle thought he tapped and the ref didn't see it. So I got a chance to look at it. He didn't tap, you know, but the way his hand was moving, it was kind of weird looking. He was just trying to get his hand out, of position. So I told the promoter, I said, hey, you know, just look at it, you know, and if he taps, you know, just I'm not a sore loser. Just let us do it again. He was looking, you know, Ray's looking to defend his belt, of course, and he's a warrior, man. He's a really good fighter, so he'll fight anybody. I asked for the fight. I was like, I feel that I gave him the fight. You know, I handed it to him. You know, let's do it again. You know, it was an exciting fight, man, from start to finish. You know, we had everybody on their seats. We gave the fans what they wanted. You know, we each had our moments. You know, he stunned me standing up, and I almost finished him on the ground. You know, we were both almost finished each other at each other's games. So. The crowd loved it, and that's what I'm all about, man. I'm all about putting on a show. I'm all about giving the crowd what they want, and that's what I like doing. That's what he likes doing. So I have to do it again. He said he'll get back to me, and Ray accepted. He said, "Yeah, let's do it again." I don't think there's nobody in Art of War at 155 pounds that was I don't know. I don't want to say worthy enough because.
But that could compete with that.
What's that?
But not somebody that you feel like could compete right away on that level.
Right. You know, I'm sure they can just put anybody in there, and you know, Ray will run through them. You know, but you know, they don't have anybody at the time that that can offer what I offer.
Especially considering what you guys just did.
Yeah, he beat me, you know, hands down. You know, but props to him. But we put on an exciting fight, and that's what people want to see. They want to see exciting fights. You know, it was the classic striker versus grappler, and we both had our moments in each department. He had his moments in striking, and he had his moments in grappling, and I had the same. So, you know, we just put on a good fight, and they're happy to do it, and I'm sure the crowd's going to love it. His people are going to love it. My people are going to love it, and we're going to put on another great show. Hopefully I come out on top this time.
Well, you heard it. 155-pound title, AOW, going to be on the line again. Baby Ray taking on our guest, Johnny Marez, in January. You can check out AOWMMA.com for more of their ticket information and check out coverage at SRMA.com. I want to thank you so much for your time, Johnny, and give you a chance to give some shout-outs.
Thank you for having me, man. You guys always do a good job covering. I just want to thank all my sponsors, Game Face Fight Gear, Beatdown Fight Gear, Kovar's Martial Arts, Thomas Fallon, Nick Christie, all my training partners, my friends, my family, my wife. You know, she helps me out a lot, mentally and physically, you know, with all the training and stuff like that. So thank you to everybody that, you know, that believe in me and that support me, that, you know, support my dream, and you know, a lot of the fans also, man. They're the reason why I do it. I love this. I love to put on a show for people. I love to make people happy, and, you know, I love doing what I do. So thank you, everybody, for helping me and supporting me.
Back here on the 49th episode of the Verbal Scrap Podcast, we just got done with some Art of War and Tachi Palace coverage. Remember, we're brought to you today by OneFitBody.net. Check them out for more. Here in studio with Shro, coming up this Wednesday, you're going to be having Martin Kampmann taking on Carlos Condit, their third match. What do you think about this matchup, and do you think that it is going to be the match that kind of presents the challenger next for the title?
I think it's guaranteed, since both of them are coming off losses. Their last fight was lost to Johnny Hendricks. I'm getting my names mixed up here. So after November 16th, the title fight against GSP and Johnny Hendricks, I guarantee you whoever is the winner of this fight will fight for the title. Well, and this is going to be a fantastic fight because I think both of these guys know it, so they're just going to be balls out.
I have this awesome clip with Carlos Condit in an interview that he clearly does not care to be in. But first, let's hear the preview.
UFC returns to Bankers Life Fieldhouse on Wednesday, August 28th with a rematch between two of the sport's best welterweights. Former interim UFC champion Carlos Condit takes on Martin the Hitman Kampmann in what guarantees to be an explosive main event. Kampmann defeated Condit by controversial split decision in 2009. Now the two will look to settle the score in Indianapolis. UFC presents Condit versus Kampmann live from Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Wednesday, August 28th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Who's your pick, my friend?
Condit.
Condit. You think Condit is going to be... So since you think Condit is going to be the guy that wins, you're going to put him in the next title matchup. Who do you think he's going to be taking on? Hendricks or GSP?
GSP again. It'll be a rematch.
A rematch of GSP and Carlos Condit, which is obviously going to go way different than it did before. But I wanted to play this clip of Carlos Condit. It's him with an interview with Bankers Life, I believe. And the guy is hilarious. Just don't worry about it. Hilarious. And he starts asking him about his nickname, and you can totally tell how interested Carlos Condit is.
Now, your nickname was Natural Born Killer, is that correct?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, I've never been called that. I wouldn't come close to that. Now, you got a family now. You got the little one, and you got the beautiful, Natural Born Killer, what do they call you at home? Because I know they're not calling you Natural Born Killer.
Just dad, I'm dad at home.
That's probably the best thing to be called, right?
Absolutely.
And then come August, when you guys come back here to Indiana, you're going to be called the champ. You're going to be called the winner.
The victor, absolutely.
Carlos, thanks so much for spending some time with us.
There you go. He sounded really interested. And I just have to say, like, that, to me, is the epitome of an interested fighter who's hanging on every word.
That's just painful. Whatever that DJ or Baker's Life, whatever that was just painful.
Well, you're here on the 49th episode of the Verbal Scrap Podcast. You can check us out on iTunes. You can subscribe for free. If you're interested in growing your brand with SRMMA, you can email jw@srmma.com for more. Hit us up on Facebook. And we're new on Instagram. And if you're on Twitter, I swear to God, you better tweet us a question with the hashtag AskTouchy, where you can actually ask Touchy Feely any questions you want, WFC Featherweight Champion. And I have to say, bring some better questions, folks. You're boring me. It's very boring on Twitter world, and I feel like Twitter's full of crazy questions. How come they're not coming with the Ask Touchy hashtag?
Touchy, I know you're listening right now, so I got to know, do you sit or stand to wipe?
Hashtag that, bro. You got to hashtag it. Don't you know the rules? The rules are send a tweet to SRMMA Tweets with the hashtag, do you stand or wipe? No, just play.
Have to know.
Hashtag Ask Touchy, and you'll have an opportunity on our next show. We'll get something together with him, and we'll answer some of your questions. So you got to check that out here on the 49th episode of the Verbal Scrap Podcast. Go big or go home. We are going big in studio. Let's bring you into our musical guest that had an opportunity to play his song in our last show. We were able to sit down with him in studio and play his next track, Burn It Down, and hear a little bit more about him. So let's now hear TIGGO.
Used to have the plug with the white, with the slugs with the ice, good trees in my blunt, 15s in my trunk, couple G's in a month, eating dinner for lunch. Could have made macaroni.
It's JWA from SRMMA.com. We're on the Verbal Scrap Podcast. If you guys were checking us out last time, you were able to hear a little track from TIGGO from the I Am Him album. We played Did All Three, which you were just hearing on the way in. Today we got him in studio. How you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, man.
I hear you're a busy man. Could you enlighten some of the fans about some of the things you might be doing right now to make the music scene pop for you?
Actually, at the moment, man, I've been doing a lot more work in the studio. Been getting a lot of good looks for the project that's out now. Internet going crazy, man. Got a few joints that's looking good as far as videos. I'm shooting those all day, every day, getting a lot of visuals going. So check me out on YouTube. TIGGO 415 is my YouTube channel, and you can catch me on there doing a lot of stuff. So everything's been looking good.
Well, I was reading in your bio on Reverb Nation where fans can also check you out. You from Los Angeles, correct?
No, I was born in Los Angeles.
Born in Los Angeles, from San Francisco.
Yeah, I was raised in San Francisco. Yeah.
So being from Cali, you must have a lot of Cali love. You being from so many different places with a lot of scenes happening in music.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. The love is most definitely spread out. Like I said, I was raised in Frisco, so I got a lot of love out there, of course. But I'm getting it from all aspects, man. They love me everywhere.
Well, I had an interesting MMA story to tell you. We were at, I believe it was this event called Titan's Cage, and one of our photographers, Richard Keith, his son was in town, and he was wearing an I Am Him shirt, And I don't know if you know, but Uriah Faber took a picture of him and put it on his Instagram saying, "Oh, that's him." I thought I was him, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And I didn't even know what it was from, and that's how I kind of got into you. Like, where's that shirt? And learned about you. And I thought it was a pretty interesting story. I mean, where does I Am Him come from?
Yeah, man, you know, I've been working on the project for a long time, and I had it finished a few times and had to scrap it and went through some ups and downs with it. But I Am Him is something I came with a while back. It was an acronym for history in the making.
Oh,
and,
okay, I like it.
Yeah, so you know, I just felt like, man, I'm on my way up the ladder, you know. So it's like, man, I'm trying to make history with what I'm doing, and after that, I just kind of just, you know, went with it. And once I went with it, it just caught, man, and I grabbed onto the clothing and that caught on, and everybody started liking it. It was just a nice, simple little concept.
I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, it's definitely a talking point. Like, I'm him. Maybe that dude's him, but I'm him too. And, you know, marketing, I feel, is the biggest key in music. A lot of people, I hear a lot of talented artists, but it just seems like it's all about getting the name bigger, getting the brand out there. I mean, what have you noticed about the industry, and what do you kind of want to do to push that side of it for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I know the biggest thing I've noticed in the industry, man, is you do have to build your brand. Your brand is your foundation. So, as far as that's concerned, for the future things I'm trying to do and accomplish, man, it has everything to do with branding myself all the way through and through. So,
well, I also wanted to ask you about some of the tracks. You can catch out the I Am Him album. Where are places that, you know, people can catch the album? Is it on most of the average things that most fans can download music and stuff like that?
Yeah, most definitely. I don't have it up for free download at the moment, so you're going to have to catch me on iTunes right now, Amazon.
Hey, but you're an artist. Music costs. You know, that's part of you.
Most definitely. Music does cost, and, you know, we put a lot into this. Well, I can't speak for every artist, but speaking for myself, I put a lot into my music. So, yes, it is worth something.
Well, I do like one particular track, Show You How, with San Quinn. I got a feel for San Quinn when I was listening to, like, Kick the Sneak. I believe some track in, like, 08, maybe 09. I was like, oh, who's that guy? So I've been following him, and it was cool because I noticed you guys had a track together. What was that experience like? I mean, how do you network with guys like that, especially guys that have respect in the Bay Area for what they do?
Man, that's working with Quinn was a big thing, man, because in San Francisco, you know, everybody from that city knows that, man, Quinn is one of the legendary rap artists out of our city. So being able to connect with him was real big, and, you know, I grew up with some people real close to him, family wise, and just, you know, being out here moving around and getting my name known, man. It gave me the opportunity to you know, run into him and connect with him, and we just took it from there, man. Real good dude, real talented guy.
Well, I know, like we were speaking before the show, you know, we were saying people come from many different backgrounds, many different stories. Obviously, you're doing your thing in music. What kind of background do you come from that you draw from to put into your music? You know, what kind of experiences have pushed you towards the lyrics, the tone, the different styles in which you put into your album?
Well, as far as that's concerned, I really just started off writing about everything I was going through. I never intended to make a big career out of it, or you know, I never really aimed for the fame or anything like that. I really just started off writing about life experiences. So I started off really as a writer. You know, I wrote a whole lot, you know, and until this day, you know, a couple of my partners laugh about it because I got like thousands of rhymes, like crazy amount of rhymes written
like a
on
notebook
paper.
somewhere.
Yeah, like full notebooks, like a whole bunch of full notebooks. So yeah, man, that's what it all.
So you feel like
from.
you probably have like albums just waiting that you haven't had the opportunity to produce yet.
Yeah, and yeah, what's crazy is I don't even go back. Like, I leave those books where they're at.
Oh, for real?
Oh yeah, man.
So you just coming up with new stuff every day.
Right. So yeah, I really work, man. I really do this.
Well, then what are some of the experiences that you enjoy today, or some of the hardships that you endure today that push you and inspire you?
Well, you know, I mean, everybody has their ups and downs. So you can always. It's always something inside of you can grab from, you know, especially with just your everyday living and the things you're going through. That's all I really talk about. I'm not really much of a I don't really fabricate. I'm not much of a fictional writer. I kind of just I always reach deep down and grab the things I was going through from within, man, and I always just express myself that way. So.
Well, I noticed when we were cruising down to some fights, you know, my boys got your tracks on. They seem really polished, you know, and a lot of artists that don't necessarily have the name, or they might not put in as much time with the quality, you could tell. And when I was listening to your tracks, I could tell, it's a different level. You care about the sound quality, the mix, the way it flows. It all just seems to go together so well. And you have to know a lot more than just lyrics to make that happen. So, I mean, what's some of the background as far as your knowledge in music, not just, the words that you say, but kind of putting that all together and making those things happen for yourself?
Oh, man, starting off, I used to rap, like, me and my boy back in the day, we used to rap, like, on some terrible equipment, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. It happens, man.
Oh,
you should hear our first podcast. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I can relate, man. Yeah. Now, we started off on some terrible equipment. I think we had, like, a dirty sock for our mic screen or something like that. Like, it was crazy, but, we kept at it. We step by step just learned how to do it, man, on what we had. You know what I mean? I always had what I had to work with, and then eventually along the way I ended up taking some classes on audio engineering. So I'm pretty well rounded with the engineering part. And what's crazy, what people don't know, is the sound that you hear that comes from me, I engineer that,
Oh, that's fantastic.
I take it
man.
to get mixed and mastered to places to other engineers and stuff like that. I work with other cats, but for the most part, I record myself. I write all my music. I rap, do all of that.
And, it seems like today, those tools are better suited for the world we're in. There's so much access to tools out there. If you can better understand it, you better know your craft. I mean, who can stop you from pursuing what you want to pursue? Who could tell you, hey, you couldn't make it in the rap scene? Like, no, if I feel I can, then I feel I can. And have you experienced any hurdles? Just, anybody throwing obstacles in your way? I mean, not singling people out, but any particular experiences that you've had that maybe have made you question yourself in music?
Oh, man, I mean, that's probably... like you asked me earlier, that's probably a big part of my motivation, man. That's one of the things that that fuels me, man. A lot of the stuff I've been through as far as that goes, like, but yeah, man, a lot of obstacles. You got to believe in you the most, first and foremost. So when you come against that kind of stuff, man, you got to just turn it into positive energy and use it as motivation, man.
Well, we've been asking a few athletes and different guests some of the cool hashtags that have been thrown around Twitter lately. So I got a couple for you. Feel free to answer as freely as you like. Right. One of the hashtags was, we can't date if. Any particular females come your way, what's in something that right away you are not hollering at that if?
As far as appearance?
It can be anything. It could be as shallow as you want to be, or it could be something deep. Like, hey, if a girl... it really likes bad movies, if a girl has mom issues, you can go anywhere you want to go with it.
Oh, man. We cannot date if a girl has a bad attitude. I don't like bad attitudes. I like good vibes.
Because you can't fix those.
You can't.
Because this is crazy. And I mean, could you give a prime example of just a specific attitudinal trait? Something like high class, or maybe she wants to put you as a second, for sure. Like, how exactly do you mean attitude?
You know what? I would say I like down to earth women.
Got you.
So as far as the bougie and the high acidity and the funny acting is concerned, I can't do that. I like down to earth women that can relate to normal things.
Another hashtag. A lot of people in music always seem to gravitate towards athletics. A lot of people in athletics seem to gravitate towards music. So I thought an interesting hashtag was, I'd be a pro athlete if. What do you feel like, if you did aspire to be a pro athlete, and if you did, what do you feel like, if I just had this, I would have been a pro athlete?
Ooh, to be a pro athlete. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and be honest all the way, man. If I would have just kept them grades up, man,
School's a killer.
School's a killer. School's a killer.
I feel you. All right.
Yeah.
Well, one last hashtag for you. And by the way, can fans catch you on Twitter? And if so, where can they catch you at?
Yeah, you can catch me on Twitter at _TIGGO _. So _ all caps TIGGO _.
Last hashtag for you. Hashtag my guilty pleasure is. Now, you can be anything from a TV show that you watch secretly, you don't want to really put out there in most conversation. It could be, some food you sneak to yourself that you tell somebody you don't eat. Anything in the world. Hashtag my guilty pleasure is.
Oh, man. My guilty pleasure would probably be Girl Code. I watch Girl Code.
I'm guilty, man.
All right. One last thing about that then. What draws you in at least?
I learned so much from watching that show, man. Girls give up too much info on that show, man. They got to cut back if they don't want us to be up on it.
Well, just a few more things about music before you go. Do you have any shows or projects that are available to the public anytime soon that they might be able to reach out and grab tickets or set up something with you for?
I'm still in the midst of putting a lot of things together as far as venues are concerned for me for performances and whatnot. But you can always reach out and I always reach out. As soon as I put up the dates and the contact info, you can always reach out, man, and it'll be there for you to be able to show up and come support. So we working on that right now, though.
What would you say would be one of the more awesome things that have happened from fans or an experience you've had where it motivated you even more, like people appreciate your work?
Oh man, that's a good question. At one point in time, I had a fan send me mail without a return address, and it was a bag of M&Ms with my name on every single M&M. Had the TIGGO on every M&M.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Man.
That blows my mind.
Right.
Well, we wanted to play the Burn It Down track. I wanted to give you an opportunity to introduce it and let the fans know what's up before we played it.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. Man, this is one of my new tracks off I Am Him. It's called Burn It Down.
My soul on fire, and no one can put that flame out. I can't find no way out. I can't slow my brain down, and I don't claim no gang, but if a nigga want props, we'll bang out. I am him. I can't feel my heartbeat. Ice run through my arteries, but my soul on fire, and no one can put that flame out. I can't find no way out. I can't slow my brain down, and I don't claim no gang, but if a nigga want props, we'll bang out and go for rounds. I hold it down. Quiet nigga, but I'm blowing loud. I'm the nigga that you heard about. Try a nigga and get burnt down. Been through so much shit, it don't hurt now. I don't like a bitch, she get cursed out. I'm a fucking king, ice in my ring, ice in my drink, and I'm pulled up. Pull hoes like a tow truck, cause I'm blowing up and they know what's up. Hey, chill, I throw it up before a fuck nigga. Ain't no love, no handshakes and no hugs. I ain't off no drugs. 30 round for O-tuck for them demons that want me gone. Life hard, but I ain't soft. On the edge and I'm diving off. Put the grip on my bread like a tiger claw. If I die tomorrow, don't cry, smile, cause with a fight, I'm going out. When the lightning comes, that's when the thunder pounds. I'ma light it up and I'ma burn it down. Burn it down. I'ma light it up and I'ma burn it down. Burn it down. I'ma light it up and I'ma burn it down. Burn it down. I'ma light it up and I'ma burn it down. Burn it down. You ain't gotta ask if I'm about action. That thing will flame like a dragon. I ain't giving no passes. Make a hater burn to ashes. Some niggas fell off, but I lasted. Cause a nigga wasn't made out of plastic. Hard body and that hard money. Scars on me, but I'm still breathing and won't surrender. I'm too strong. Interfere and get moved on. Win some and you lose some. Don't remember, just move on. Been a nigga since a newborn, and now nigga pimping like Too Short. All about my respect, boy. Not sure a nigga what I do for it. I ain't taking no detours. Run with me or get ran over. Act sick and get rained on, cause my niggas sick like a hangover. Don't say nothing, just turn it up and let the bass hit like Martinez or elbow from Artest and fucking internet. I be in the flesh, won't see me sweat, just see me shine. Don't see no threats, all I see is lies. Get deep fried when that heat spark. Be a mark or be a shark. Be smart, don't be a target. If you ain't gon' use it, don't reach for it. Eat or starve, survive or drown. I was in the dark, now I'm climbing out. When the lightning come, that's when the thunder pound. I'ma light it up and I'ma burn it down. Burn it down. I'ma light it up and I'ma burn it down. Burn it down. I'ma light it up and I'ma burn it down. Burn it down. Fuck shit, I ain't with that. My niggas ain't with that. So if a nigga want it with us, we'll make a nigga feel the impact. And they gon' get back, so keep your distance, cause we're strapped. And he don't listen, he just tripping on whoever tripping and whoever with him. Shit changed, it ain't the same. They don't feel the real ones, they feel the lames. I don't feel the lames, they in the way. You wanna see a real one, I'll demonstrate. I'm getting paid, and suckers hate, cause they pockets thin like a pillowcase. I'm drinking hen with no chase, trying to cope. Gotta shake through the obstacles, cause niggas snakes, gotta watch them close. Rockin' gold like a D-boy, cause I'm selling dope in every music store. And my family, who I do it for, touch them and get touched. Friends faith in a motherfucker, so who the fuck should I trust? Talk shit and get flushed. I don't fuck with no punks. So if you talking that punk shit, You ain't talking to us. Kush crushed in my blunt. So high, I can't think. Killers plotting my death. So I can't blink. I'ma shake the concrete. Like when that thunder pound, and every time they play my beat, I'ma light it up and I'ma burn it down. Burn it down. I'ma light it up and I'ma burn it down. We count money, nigga. Styling was half. DJ Fetty.
You just listened to Burn It Down from TIGGO. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the production of that particular song. You know, what do you feel when you put that together? What do you feel listening to it now?
Yeah, first and foremost, the track is produced by Rob Lowe, big time producer out the Bay Area. And when I listened to that track, man, when I had the beat just as it was without any lyrics to it, man, it was just like it gave me a different feeling, man. I knew it was just gonna be a different kind of feel. So, and when I listen to it now, it's like I'm glad I did what I did to it. It came out exactly how I wanted it to sound. So.
Well, for the fans that might be interested in places they can check out your music, where to go, where to get in touch with you, or if they want to follow you on social media, you know, what kind of stuff you got going on for them? When fans want to get your music, they want to download, they want to buy, where do you have it located? Where's the best place to get in touch with you as far as your links and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. Like I said earlier, you can catch me on Twitter at _TIGGO_. You can catch me on Instagram. _.
I just got into that. I'll probably be catching you soon.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to find people that I know.
Right. Most def. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, on there I'm _TIGGO_ also, and then HL TIGGO on Facebook. So, and I post a lot of my videos and stuff, my visuals on there and stuff. And then of course you can find me on YouTube. But as far as purchasing the project, I'm on Amazon, like I said, iTunes, all the websites and stuff. I'm on iHeartRadio. They're playing me on there. And on top of that, you could get me in Dimple or Rasputin in the Bay Area. Dimple Records out here in Sac and Rasputin in the Bay.
Also wanted to give you an opportunity before we let you go to give thanks, maybe shout outs to anybody that you're working with, fans, whoever you like.
Oh yeah, man! Shout out my guy Hardline Boss, man. I started to make a lot of noise with him, man. Big producer out here, man. You guys need beats. That's a good dude right there to go to. Shout out Teak and D. They doing some big things out there in Stockton. Shout out to my boy Authentic. Man, he probably was one of the first big time producers I dealt with out here. And shout out to my whole squad. Shout out to Richard Keith Photos, man. He's doing his thing.
I love that guy.
Oh yeah, big time with the photography. Yeah, good dude. And yeah, man, just my whole team, everybody that's working hard to see it happen, man. Shout out to everybody that's working hard, man.
Well, I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come down to the studio, record some stuff with us, man. It's been a pleasure. You fans that are interested, you heard Burn It Down today as well. And on the way out, we're going to be playing from the I Am Him album. You guys got to check it out. Like you said, TIGGO on Twitter and on Instagram. And check out the Verbal Scrap Podcast and SRMA.com for more information. We're back here on the 49th episode of the Verbal Scrap Podcast, bringing you into our West Coast fighting coverage. Also brought to you by OneFitBody.net. If you haven't checked them out, you got to check them out more for El Dorado Hills coverage and massage therapy. Jeremiah Labiano, we didn't get a chance to talk to him after his recent title win at West Coast, but we were able to catch up to him and talk about Alexander Crispim's victory at Tachi Palace. So let's hear his thoughts.
It's Jerry Watt from SRMA.com. We're here live at TPF 16 talking to Jeremiah Labiano. You recently were able to pull out the West Coast Bantamweight Championship. Didn't get a chance to catch up with you then, but now you have some time to think about it. I mean, how's the title sitting with you now since you had some chance to wear it?
Man, it's unreal, man, you know. But like I tell you every interview, man, you know, I'm always looking for the next step, you know, and what that win did was just kind of projected me forward. So we're entertaining a bunch of offers right now. I don't know where I'll be fighting next, but you'll see me within the next 3 months again back in the cage.
Well, you said before the fight, you know, you didn't think Bernard was going to give you anything you couldn't handle. Now that you were able to go in there and compete against him, is that still how you feel, or how do you feel about him as an opponent?
Yeah, you know, I mean, honestly, he didn't impress me too much. You know, he's a little bit strong, but it looked like he was pressuring me up against the cage. But I was using that because I know he was going to get tired trying to force the takedown on me, and that's exactly what I did. He got tired, once we disengaged the clinch, I just used my stand-up, and I knocked him twice in the first round. And if I had 30 more seconds left in that first round, I would have finished him. I would have TKO'd him or knocked him out.
Well, this Crispim BJJ has been sinking in chokes left and right. I mean, what do you think about what you were able to do inside the cage against Bernard? You just saw Alexander pull out a victory, obviously by submission. I mean, what do you think about the skills that you guys have in the jiu-jitsu department?
Dude, we have the best jiu-jitsu in the Bay, man. A lot of people sleep on us. They just hear all these big names, and we're a little camp. But we're making our name. We're making our name recognized in the Bay, and people are starting to see us, and they respect us. So.
Well, I wanted to ask you, coming off of XFC, you earned that kind of respect winning that tournament. You get the WFC bantamweight title. I mean, where do you think you are in the rankings regionally as far as bantamweights are concerned?
Shit. I mean, I'm the top. I'm the top bantamweight. I don't know anyone else. There's Gabriel Carrasco, who I lost to, but he hasn't fought in a while. So other than him, I don't see anyone on my level in the Bay Area as far as 135ers.
Last thing before we let you go, you have any thanks or shout-outs that we'd like to give?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout-out to, first and foremost, I want to thank God for everything. Of course, my academy, Crispim BJJ, all my coaches, Alexander Crispim, James Buggs, Robert McMullen, Ivan from Mesh, my sponsors, Inky's Tattoo, Strike First Nutrition, Solution Pro, Intel Real Estate, Lee Supnit, Imperium, Lana's Egg Whites, 5150, Fightwear, Pacific Savages Motorcycle Club, Cairo Sports USA, and my manager, Michael Bruno, in Action Sports Gear. Thank you guys for all your support, and much love.
We can find more post-fight coverage at SRMA.com. And thank you for your time, and hope to see you in the cage soon defending that title if possible.
For sure, absolutely.
Also, Anthony the Shark Avila is going to be going into battle once again at the next West Coast Fighting 7. We had him in studio talking about all kinds of things, including his fight with Cal Uno when he went to Japan, what types of girls he can and cannot date, and he has a message for a particular fighter who apparently called him out recently. He didn't name names, but he wanted to make sure that somebody knew what he had to say. So let's now hear Anthony Avila in studio.
I'm doing great. It can't go wrong when I get a chance to talk to some champions. And you got some big fight news coming up. You're going to be fighting Jesse Bowen. You just got off of a Cal Uno fight. I wanted to ask you first, what was the trip like going to Japan? I mean, what did you feel about, being in that environment, being in a different place?
It was a lot different. I was by myself. I'm not used to that. It was pretty cool to go out there and just to see a whole different side of the world. They do a lot of stuff different over there, for sure.
Well, what would you say would be, if you could pick out one or two things, what's something that kind of threw you off? Did you see anything that maybe threw you for a loop or made you think for a second, like, I'm definitely in a different place?
Well, they're like super respectful, like it's super clean over there, but the thing that, I don't know, the thing that threw me off the most was I was behind enemy lines, when they called my name, and it was a small little stadium and maybe one or two people stood up, but when they said his name, man, the whole crowd just was crazy. It was nuts. It was nuts.
Well, obviously, Cal Uno, you were able to fight him at the Vale Tudo, Japan, and him being from around those parts, it's obvious that they brought you in there to be the guy to take on the hometown favorite. Coming in with that mindset, I mean, where were you mentally when you were coming in to fight Cal Uno, and what were you hoping to do in that fight?
Man, it was all the same. I wish I could have left with the win. I trained hard for every fight. I just made a couple mistakes throughout my camp, and I paid for it. You've seen it in my performance. If you got to see the fight, I made some mistakes and ended up hurting in the third round, and I got caught.
Well, I mean, I was able to watch the fight on YouTube, and I was actually, my thought process, and I mean, don't beat me up, but I was thinking, man, I hope that he's going to be able to handle that moment really well, being in Japan, fighting Cal Uno. And you looked real confident and smooth in the first round. I personally gave you that opening round. You looked like your normal self. What were you thinking?
I didn't think anything about Kyle Uno. He was a regular guy. If you put me in there with Hulk Hogan, it's all the same thing, man. It's all the same thing.
Well, when, like you said, when they said his name, everyone started cheering. Did you get any sense of adrenaline like right before that? Because you're usually really smooth when you come out. You're really you seem kind of diabolical. In your eyes, like you're just playing ball with people. And like you said, being there, did you feel anything different? Did it put you out of place? Because you look like you were about the same.
No, I actually felt, I felt like I was going to be able to do good. I felt like I recovered good from the weight cut. And I did decent, the first round. The second round, I did so. And then, it finally kicked in, and I paid for it.
Well, I mean, some of the things that you did well that I liked, you used your wrestling well when he got you down on the mat. I noticed you were able to reverse it. I mean, what were you thinking when you were on top of him? Because Cal Uno, he's been able to establish himself with his jiu-jitsu, but that's not seemingly like his most dominant right away. A lot of people look at all the different things he's able to do. What were you thinking when you were on top of him? I mean, how are you looking to finish this guy when you could?
I actually wanted to stand with him. I know it was kind of tricky and sneaky. I know he was going to try to shoot from my back, and eventually he got that. But I didn't want to be on top of him. I wanted to keep it standing the whole time.
Well, now you're going to be fighting Jesse Bowen upcoming at WFC 7. Hopefully, if all goes well, knock on wood. I wanted to ask you, is that going to be in the lightweight division? And if so, is that going to be a title defense? Where is it going to be at? What's the info on that?
Yeah, lightweight. I'm not going to go to 45s. There's a monster right there, a
He's pretty
toothless
good.
monster, dude.
Well, he's not going to be at 45s right now either. He's going to be going up. So
if he vacates that belt, I'm vacating my belt and going down and getting that one. But I'm here at 55s. It's going to be at 55. Jesse Bowen stepped up. Mr. John Reedy decided to sit this one out. And thank you, Jesse Bowen, for stepping up.
Well, I wanted to ask you what you see out of him as an opponent. He obviously took on Andre a while ago at one of the West Coast events when Andre was able to get his title. Do you see it going down the same way for you? I mean, you were able to jump on guys pretty quickly. You obviously had a run for a while as finishing guys right away. So what do you think about Bowen as an opponent?
He's a tough opponent. He's a game fighter, and I think I'll be out there. I'll go out there and do my thing, and I think he knows that as well. After a couple of my fights, we shared a couple opponents, and he's came up to me like, man, you weren't supposed to finish him that fast. You beat him before me. You beat him faster than I did. So, yeah, I'm gonna show him why I beat them faster than he did.
Well, I do have a complaint as far as your short finishes. It's really hard to get a good wealth of photos for the articles and all that stuff. You make it difficult. So I will point out there, the longer the fight, the more spectacular photos we probably have of you from a journalistic standpoint. From the fight business standpoint, I mean, how you feeling West Coast now you had the opportunity to be their champion for a while? I mean, how's that sitting well with you in the gym?
It's actually great. I actually feel like I'm a regular person no matter what, with or without the title. But Brandon Ware, he actually takes great care of his champions and his regular fighters as well. He's a good man. He's a great person, man.
Well, at WFC 7, Andre is going to be fighting Max Griffin. You obviously train with him. What do you think about what most people are talking about, the weight difference and whether or not that's going to be an advantage for Max?
I don't think it's going to be too much of an advantage. Andre's a big person. It's crazy that he makes 45s already. I think that he is as soon as
you can just go ahead.
I think that he'll be in there and you'll see that the weight isn't going to really matter, and like he's going to be just as big as Max. And I think actually Andre got the advantage. He doesn't have to cut. He doesn't have to dehydrate himself, and it's known that Max hurts to cut weight or to make weight. Sorry.
Well, I when I talk to Andre, he says that he doesn't see their styles matching up. But, I mean, I feel like they both are cardio fiends, and they both like to put it on their opponents, which I think kind of pits them together well. What do you see about their two styles and how they match up? Where do you think they coexist? Where do you think they don't?
Andre's, he'll go out there, and he's an in-your-face fighter. He's going to go out there and try to knock Max out. And why Max has a knockout over Jamie Hara, I think he's going to be running or on his heels majority of the fight.
Well, if you could, single out something going well in the local MMA fight scene, because it looks like a lot of people are stepping up and a lot of big things are happening around here. What do you feel like being a part of Sacramento, being a part of Uriah Faber's camp, knowing that Sacramento's slowly becoming that big fight town again?
It's great, especially to be a champion within like the top organization in the Sacramento area. That's amazing as well.
Well, I wanted to ask you some hashtags because we got the hashtag game. I'm going to get into it first. I don't know if you're currently taken or not, so you got to ask.
I'm single.
Well, this will be perfect then.
All pretty girls are crazy, man. No, I'm just kidding. She's a good person.
For all the pretty ladies that might be interested, there's a couple popular hashtags that have been going around. We've been asking a few guests. First one, hashtag number 1, we can't date if. What's something? It can be shallow. It can be deep. It can be something long-term. It can be something short-term. What's something that if some honey brings it your way, it ain't happening?
If she's a smoker, I can never date a smoker, man. No, I don't care. California, it's legal to smoke weed. I personally don't smoke weed. Do what you want to do, but if you smoke cigarettes, we're done. 100% done.
Now, I wanted to ask, is there a gradual scale there? Like if the hotter the female, like if Halle Berry starts smoking, you? I'm just saying, everyone has their limits. What's your limit on that?
You asked some crazy names. If there's a Halle Berry in Sacramento, man, I might smoke cigarettes for you, but. Anyway, just, a regular average girl, if she's a nobody, just like I'm a nobody, and she smokes cigarettes, the chances of us dating is slim to none.
Well, the last thing I'll ask you about that, if you could say there'd be one maybe top celebrity that would be the exception to your rule, who would be like, no, she could smoke?
Give me a couple minutes. I know there's a couple. There's some celebrities out there that I love to date, and
It's not going to be like Heidi Klum in her prime or like ancient Heidi Klum or any
no,
of that
you're gonna
stuff.
get a fresh name. I'm actually gonna Google this while we speak.
Well, I wanted to ask you, you are also roommates with Andre Feely. You guys must have some crazy stories of party times. What's something that you could give our fans that you wouldn't feel bad divulging that was a really awesome story you guys took place?
Andre Feely drank a girl's breast milk.
Oh, man.
A shot out of a girl's breast milk. Sorry, Dre.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. It's gonna come up on YouTube somewhere, right?
It was actually a couple months ago. I don't know where the tape is at.
You know YouTube is just catching everything these days.
Oh man, I'm sure it'll pop up eventually, especially when it gets in UFC. Hopefully within the next year, you'll see it. It'll pop up for sure.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what's something, if you had something on your chest you'd be wanting to get off recently, something that grinds your gears, maybe something you saw in the news. What's the thought process in the Sharks' mind?
I got a couple things. Actually, first, all right, we'll just stick with one. I hate how this Instagram thing, it has all these people thinking they're fitness models and all kinds of crazy things. And also, I want to let everybody know that it's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I don't care if you have 12,000 million followers. If you're shit in life, you're a shit person. Like, if you're only cool on social media networks and you're not cool in person, then you're nobody. You got your life ass backwards.
Well, I wanted to ask you, you train at Team Alpha Male. They obviously have a lot of stuff going on. Your boy Uriah Faber fought recently. Did you get a chance to check out the fight?
Hell yeah, man. You see those elbows? I think one of those elbows hurt me.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what did you think, how he looked in his performance, and how do you compare that when you see him in the gym? Because everybody sees the fight night, but not a lot of people see, what goes into it. How do you feel like he was mentally coming into this? I mean, is it anything different?
I think, he's a mentally strong person, in every aspect in life. He's just a good person. He's a hard worker, and I don't know. I hear a lot of people talking about like, oh, Uriah Faber, he's old, he's over the hill. Dude, you guys seen that last fight. That motherfucker ain't over the hill.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the Chris Weidman and Anderson Silva knockout. Okay, there's a lot of conspiracy theorists that say, maybe Anderson Silva was kind of going down. And I think that this kind of junk because that was like a 2-1 odds, and I kind of agree with Dana White. You throw bigger fights than that. But what did you think about the finish, and what do you think about Anderson Silva, the way he was taunting him and how he kind of got it? Did you think it was coming, or what were your thoughts?
I'm 100% supporter of Anderson Silva and his style. I might fight Jesse Bowen like that. But, he just got caught. You just get caught. It's just one of those sports where you live and you die by the sword, and that's what happened. He was I think he was just a little bit off of his game. Like he dodged a couple punches and he made him look stupid. And if he would have fired like he usually does, like right off of those, it would have been a different story. But he was just a little step behind.
Well, a lot of people, they kind of gravitate towards the fighters they know more about and know more where they're coming from. Every fighter's different. Tell us a little bit more about your background, what kind of got you into this sport, what fuels you to keep going, and a little bit more about yourself.
When I was younger, I actually got sent to a juvenile place, a juvenile hall, and I was just a troublemaker, and I thought I could fight good, and I really couldn't. I had no idea what I was doing. I was fighting a lot every weekend, and then when I went into I was in there for 3 months, and my first thought was like, damn, there's not enough girls in here for me, man. I gotta get out of this place.
I gotta get out of here.
I'm not cut out for this lifestyle. So I turned my life around after that. I joined a wrestling team because one of my old buddies, he was wrestling. He was like, oh yeah, you should try it. I thought I could already stand up and fight. All I needed was wrestling, and little did I know I didn't have nothing. I still didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing until maybe 4 or 5 fights ago. I don't think I was that good of a fighter.
Well, I wanted to not let you get away from the Heidi Klum celebrity thing. Have you had a chance to throw out any fresh names for us?
Oh man, I forgot. I forgot all about.
I'll give you
that.
some of my secrets. I'm a Selma Hayek and like Rosario Dawson kind of lover,
Man.
and so if I could throw them into a mix of any kind, hands together, anything would be fine.
Everybody knows that. Everybody that knows me knows I'm into Latin chicks, and
Can't go wrong.
And that's only because for some reason white chicks do not like me. I don't know. I think I play. I'm dead serious, dude. White girls do not like me. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I think I play around too much. But any Latin chick with a big butt and a good head on her shoulders is perfect for me, man.
Well, I wanted to ask you a few more things before we let you go. What would you say have been some of your more enjoyable highlights in the career so far? I mean, obviously, like you're not able to get the win with Cal Uno, but that has to be huge for you. It puts you out there with a lot of people that have seen that fight. I mean, you looked good before you lost. So, what do you say is some of your top highlights, good or bad?
I think, like my fast finishes are like my greatest moments. I personally, I don't know. Some of these fighters like to get hit. I'm not one of those guys. Don't touch my face, please, Jesse Bowen. But I don't know. I just think my fast finishes, when I knocked Evan Esguerra out in one punch hit or whatever a couple years back, or when I submitted Darren Crisp. And actually, Darren Crisp that was great. Oh no! Oh yeah, Darren Crisp was great because he was. I seen him talking in an interview talking about like, oh yeah, man, he hasn't fought nobody, and saying that the only reason why I have such a good record was because I haven't fought nobody, and the reason why he has a bad record is because look who he's fought. And so we fought, and I submitted him in 60 seconds, and that was just amazing. Also Sergio Quinones. He was talking
Tachi Palace?
Yeah. This was the one before Darren Crisp at Tachi Palace as well. Sergio Quinones had run around and was talking shit about me in Lemoore because we're from the same area. So that was amazing just to go out there and make him look like a clown. So, and he had gel in his hair. Sergio, I know you're probably going to watch this. I seen your gel in your hair, you cheater. And you still got choked, cheater.
Well, a couple things right before we let you go. For people that are interested in getting in touch with you, maybe on social media, I know you got the Facebook out now. I mean, could you throw out the links for fans and stuff like that?
Also, yeah, great that you brought that up. Facebook, please like my fan page. I really don't like adding people that I do not know. So if you like my fan page, that'd be amazing. I got an Instagram, Anthony Avila. The O in Anthony is actually a 0, and are on Twitter, Anthony Avila as well. Same thing. Snapchat, I got Snapchat. Snapchat King. Guarantee you don't know nobody with more points than me. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Man, I wish I was cool enough to even know what that is. I feel like I'm left out of the circle now.
Snapchat, man, it's just it's a new app, and it's
There's my problem.
I
don't know. I got a smartphone, but I don't know all the cool apps.
Yeah,
I know the apps that get the job done. That's it.
Oh yeah, Snapchat's just it's like a picture messaging thing. You send pictures back and forth, so it's pretty cool. And they can't keep the pictures.
Oh yeah, because Instagram.
Wink, wink. Nah,
yeah,
just kidding.
I got you. Well, last thing before we let you go, do you have any thanks, shout outs, people you'd like to say anything about before we let you get out of here?
Yes, actually, before I give some shout outs, there's this one dude who I thought was my buddy. He said no disrespect, but he still went and called me out through a text message. He didn't text me personally, but he texted somebody else. And this fucking mental midget is going crazy. I don't know what's going through his head. I'll beat your ass, bro. I'm not going to say your name because it'd be the most publicity you ever got. But after, no disrespect to Jesse Bowen, I'm not going to look past him. But after this fight, we're going to set something up with or without that title.
Well, now that you've had an opportunity to get the Sharks chomping bits out,
yeah,
who are the people that you'd like to be nice to? Maybe the people like, moms, dads, pleasant people in your life.
I want to give a shout out to all my, my friends and family. You guys support me through the good and the bad. I'm not perfect, and you guys know that. I want to give a shout out to Patino Diet. Check that website out. I know summer's coming to an end, but patinodiet.com. I know summer's coming to an end. You don't want to get fat in the winter. Nobody wants to be fat. We want to shout out to Torque. Joey Diaz out in Stockton for his hat line. You're amazing, brother. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for everybody that supports me, from all my followers on Instagram to my group chat. I'm liking this crazy group chat with all my buddies from Sacramento, a couple down in SoCal. Shout out to you guys and everybody. I support. I'm thankful for all the support. Also, man, I want to say, that Tachi fight, this next Tachi fight's coming out. I think it's this Thursday, and they got ARCINIEGA versus, I don't remember his name, but ARCINIEGA's fighting for the belt, which he'll probably win. We were supposed to fight a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I had a tear in my quad, so I had to step out. But, hey, Art, man, give me a shout out, man. Call me out, man. I don't think they want to give me that fight, so after you finish this guy, man, let's lock it up.
I'm definitely going to have to get a Snapchat just so I can figure out what you're talking about.
Dude, Snapchat's legit. Add me on Snapchat, Anthony Avila. Same as my Instagram.
West Coast Fighting Lightweight Champion going to be taking on Jesse Bowen in November. Check out West Coast Fighting Championships for more information as far as tickets and srmma.com for more. Thank you so much for your time, and you got anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, you mental midget. Don't think I'm you kind of pissed me off. I know you said no disrespect, but I'm going to break you before we even get into the cage. I don't know why you chose this route.
Verbal Scrap Podcast, srma.com. Check us out after the break.
Yay! We're back here on the 49th episode of the Verbal Scrap Podcast. My man, we're gonna be talking about Ben Henderson taking on Anthony Pettis. For you folks that don't know, from the cage kick that was heard around the world the last time they fought in one of the last WECs, an ancient civilization of fighters that used to exist before the UFC bought them out. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. There used to be other organizations. I don't know if you know this, Shro, but the UFC purchased them, and now they've taken over the world. Have you?
I don't buy it.
Well, you're more pinky, and I'm sort of brain right now. I don't know if you. Well, let's ask Ben Henderson taking on Pettis 2. You've seen the first one, obviously. What do you think about the rematch?
I hope to God Anthony Pettis matrix kicks him in the face again, except this time just out cold on the mat, done. I liked Benson Henderson in the beginning. I'm tired of him.
You're tired of the champ, but he's so normal.
He's so doesn't finish fights.
That's that's what we were talking about last time, though. GSP doesn't finish, but everyone gives him junk, but Benson Henderson. So you've turned the bandwagon. You're now going to be voting for Pettis in the upcoming matchup this Saturday on pay-per-view. Let's hear the UFC 164 trailer.
UFC lightweight champion Benson Henderson faces the man responsible for his most bitter defeat.
I want to get that Pettis stain off my soul.
Number one contender Anthony Pettis plans to take the title he feels is rightfully his.
Where's my belt? I'm definitely looking forward to it. I want to get my hands on them.
I want the champ. I want that belt. We got ourselves a fight for the lightweight championship.
Now we're back. That's going to be happening August 31st. Now, break the matchup down for us real quick, Shro. How do you really see it playing out? I mean, I know how you want it to go, but what do you think is really going to take place?
There's definitely going to be a feeling out process in the first couple of rounds. I don't expect this fight to be very high paced in the first probably round and a half. I do expect it to be standing just about the entire time, and you're going to see more striking coming from Anthony. Obviously, most title defenders play a defensive game, and we've already seen Henderson kind of does that. When it does get a lull in the action, he'll push the pace, but I think he's going to be hesitant against Pettis should that occur. But I think ultimately it's going to be on the feet the entire time, slow in the beginning, and I hope to God that it's a knockout victory for Pettis.
We're now going to be bringing you to the section of the show where Shro gets to talk about something very interesting happening in the MMA world. The thing we're going to be talking about today, which, I'm kind of disappointed we're talking about it, but I do want to hear Shro's opinion because he's just so full of them. Tito Ortiz was retired. Many people were happy about that. Rampage Jackson was going into movies. Many people were happy about that. Now they're going to be competing against each other in a pay-per-view event for Bellator MMA in November. What exactly would possess you, sir, to pay for this?
The only reason anyone would want to pay for this, which, by the way, the card right now still is about, let's say, a month and a couple weeks away. Yeah, there's only 3 fights on this card still. But the only reason that anyone would want to pay for this fight, the very first Bellator pay-per-view event, is nostalgia fans wanting to see a fight between these two, which in their prime were fantastic, and that pains me to say that about Tito Ortiz.
It's got to hurt you deep.
But these guys have never been in the ring together. They've sparred together, trained with one another, and now they actually are going to fight one another. So that's literally the only saving grace to the reason that this is even a main event.
Here's how you pitch this. Buff Q-Tip fights Mr. T, both on streaks. You don't have to be winning.
The wrong streaks.
But they both got 3 in a row, man.
Tito's last 9 fights is 8 losses, a draw, and a win.
But he beat Bader, right? That's important.
And then Quentin lost to Bader, so I don't know. It does.
So Bader. Oh my God, Bader is above Rampage and Tito. What if we had? Hold on, I just saw Quentin Rampage Jackson and Tito at TNA Wrestling. What if we put them in the ring in a wrestling match? Add Ryan Bader, chairs, tables, ladders. What are you thinking?
then it's a pay-per-view event.
That's a
I am
pay-per-view
buying it.
event that you need to buy at Bellator.com. Well, you're here now, 49th episode of the Verbal Scrap Podcast, Go Big or Going Home. This is the section of the podcast where we go home. For you guys that are interested in coffee in the Southland Park area of Sacramento, check out Espresso Metro over on 11th and Freeport. They got some of the top brew in the country, and it's going to be coming right through there. And I'm telling you, it's like one of those things where you go hang out, you get some Wi-Fi, you get some good times. They have great pastries. I have to tell you that. I've been eating lemon cake there. It's like I'm actually dying for it because you know what? School's going to be starting in the near future. All the students are going to be hanging out. So I'm going to have to fight people for lemon cake. And I'm going to be pitching out cards and being like, hey, if you want to learn some elbows, you're going to have to check out srma.com for some of our upcoming gym features. But do you have any last words before we let you go, Shro?
You know what? I'm a man of few words, so I will just say thanks for having me on there, buddy.
Well, awesome. I wanted to play a few last things for the fans. One, we have a little clip of Dave Huckaba, who was able to knock out Ray Sefo at World Series of Fighting. So we'll play a section of his interview and catch the full interview later at srma.com.
You know what I mean? He likes me. We talked in the back. I think I got a really good future with World Series of Fighting, man. I think it's going to go good.
Are there any matchups in particular? And if not, is there a date that you're hoping to get back in the cage?
I'm hoping to get in there in October, you know what I mean? Take a couple weeks off with the family, have a beer or two. October is when I like to get back to work. I'll fight anybody in the heavyweight division, in any division. I'm not scared. We're human. We all bleed.
I know you have a million sponsors and people you'd like to thank, but any thanks or shout-outs real quick before
Sack Scrappers, Benford Custom Cycles, Aquamarine Jewelers, Nanotech, Tom Call, Impact Fight Management. You guys for putting me on the spot, you know what I mean? We couldn't do this kind of stuff without you guys. And you know, you guys putting it out there, getting on the internet, doing the Facebook stuff. The media, you guys are off the hook. My fans, you know, the best in the world, I swear. My Facebook fans, I love them so much, best in the world.
Well, you can find coverage at srma.com. I want to congratulate you one more time for your win at World Series of Fighting.
Thank you very much.
The last thing we're going to give you guys on the 49th episode of the Verbal Scrap Podcast, which you're going to be downloading on iTunes. You're going to be checking us out on Facebook at Facebook/SRMMA and Twitter at SRMMA Tweets. Mickey Martinez gave us a little scoop about kind of Tachi Palace, a little bit as to why they fell out and what they're doing coming back. Matt Zilla caught up with him, so I wanted to give you fans an opportunity to hear a little bit more of the details.
This is Matthew from srma.com with Mickey Martinez, a fighter at Tachi Palace and brother of the Tachi lightweight champion, Poppies Martinez. I want to talk to you about what was going on with the tribal council's decision to cancel the fights and what made them bring it back. Can you go into detail about that?
What happened was a lot of people were taking money, did it, and reported back in, whoever was dealing with the money at the time. So what happened with the tribe, they took it away from us. They told me and Poppies, no more fights. No more, you can fight whatever you want right now until we can bring it back. We said, all right. So me and my brother sat out for a while, fight other places. We brought it back. After argument, they the council found a new system to go with, and they went for it.
So it wasn't that the fights weren't making money, because it looks like there's a lot of people here. It was more that the way the money was spent or the organization of the money. Is that what I understand?
It was that, but they were saying it. People were saying that, that work at the casino were saying, it's not bringing money. Nothing brings in money. Sponsors don't bring in money. You know, we lose money to make money, basically. But they didn't see it that way, and the way they put it in the tribe is like we lost money, which was true. We lost money, but at the end, we gained it back. But they weren't reporting what we gained back. They were reporting what we lost. It was a shitty move for the part of whoever did that and represented the tribe.
Do you feel like it was a misunderstanding of the numbers, or that there was someone in particular that didn't want fights to happen in Tachi Palace?
There's someone was here that works here. I don't know sure if he still works here or she works here. They're the ones that didn't want it here. They wanted boxing here, but what's the difference with boxing and MMA? It's the same sport. You're still going to bleed. You're still going to get hurt. And so it's like, whatever happens, happens.
Excellent. So like, how did you and how did your brother feel like when you first heard the news that it was going away? What was your reaction at that point?
Say it again.
What was your reaction when you first heard that the fights were going away?
We're bummed. We're pissed off. We're wondering what the hell happened, because he had a contract for a belt, and then I had a contract to come back and fight again and become number 1 or number 2 contender for the belt, but that didn't happen for us. So we're pissed off about that. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
So now that they're back, do you think they're going to go anywhere anytime soon?
I doubt it. Now that there's actually council is looking at the numbers and looking at people, I think some are here, are looking at the numbers, and figuring out what the hell is really going on and seeing how many people are here excited about the fight. So I ain't going nowhere.
From the turnout, it certainly looks like you guys are making plenty of money.
Yeah, it does.
So, can you talk about your brother's upcoming fight and what you think about this matchup?
This matchup is going to be a good fight for my brother. It's going to test my brother's skills, which are good. I say it because he's my brother, but I know this guy's pretty good too, so it's going to be an exciting fight.
Excellent. Do you have any fights yourself coming up?
I'll be fighting again here in November. I'm not sure who my opponent is, so I'm just ready to get back to work.
Excellent. This has been Matthew with Mickey Martinez at Tachi Palace Fights.
49th episode of the Verbal Scrap Podcast is brought to you by One Fit Body. You can check out onefitbody.net for more information. Call 916-365-5345 for more information. And like I said, check them out online. Remember to hit us up on Twitter. Hashtag AskTouchy for all your crazy questions. And I want to take a moment to thank all of our supporters, our true, real supporters, not just lip service supporters, people that really share our work and like us and go out of their time to talk to us. I really appreciate you guys. I want to thank the fighters that make a lot of our work possible. I appreciate your time and giving you a little bit of your day after your fight or before your fight to chit chat with us and let us help grow you, and it's really like a mutual thing. So I really appreciate all of that, the coaches and especially the fans that check us out, and whether you like us or don't like us, I appreciate you listening regardless. So 49th episode of the Verbal Scrap Podcast, we got a huge one coming up for you for our big 50th episode, so stay tuned, and if you're checking to us now, you're listening to Dead Air.